The back seat. Check the back seat.
All right, come here.
Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily. Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey,
What's
what,
up?
What are you guys doing today?
Yeah, just a little radio show with my pals, with my buds.
How's your day been?
I would say that was among the funnest shows that I have ever had. It's going to be hard to top it. Unsportsmanlike, that was a great time. Especially that hour in there when we just started talking about socks for a while. That was some good content.
Socks and concession stands.
Socks and concession stands. Plus, Nick saying "MOOSHY" in the crossover earlier.
Right off the bat.
I mean, seriously, we were here.
You set the tone.
Hello.
There we go. There's Nick.
Hi.
We were off to an incredible start. Absolutely incredible.
Nick has been sitting in the exact same spot for several hours.
He's barely moved.
And he hasn't really talked much either.
I've been working.
What is he cooking?
Yeah, what do you got going over there, Nick?
I worked on prediction stuff.
Yeah?
I uploaded a video yesterday of Sipple.
Yeah?
Or the video. I uploaded the SIP interview from yesterday.
Yeah?
I had to clear out my OneDrive because I was out of space because of all the things I've been downloading.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was annoying.
What are you downloading?
Graphics and videos.
Graphics
Takes up a lot of
and
space.
video.
OneDrive
G's and
only gives you
V's.
5 gigabytes of space because they're dumb.
Whoa.
And now you got some chicken tenders
I got some tendies.
to smash on.
What
and some
about
Friesies.
all my vlogs? Did you download all my vlogs?
Those are not going to be downloaded yet.
Mm,
I'm going to wait until you're done with the vlogs.
okay.
Maybe I am done with the vlogs.
I just got a sweet behind-the-scenes photo of Nick that I can tweet out if people
Oh.
want to
Oh,
see.
cool.
Behind-the-scenes photo of Nick Grim. Behind-the-scenes photo of Nick Grim. There we go. We had a lot of topicalers that we never got a chance to talk about. We ended up being a little sports heavy in that show.
Well, I
At the
figured
end.
we'd at least talk about the Iowa game a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought that was the right call.
Did you want to ask the one? Did we want to get to the one from Farron?
Oh yeah.
I also have one that I can read from our friend Ian, which is actually a bit topical because we will all be getting on various airplanes, 3 separate planes over the next 24 hours.
3 hot planes.
Ian writes, your plane leaving Vegas suddenly begins a rapid descent, and you turn to your seatmate, who is a coworker on the trip. Who is it that you're sitting next to, and what do you say to them in your possible final moments?
So I could dream up any coworker that I'm sitting next to,
And you get to say whatever you want to them.
but it has to be a coworker.
Was it any coworker or is it specifically the 3 of us?
I think it could be any coworker.
But is the plane for sure going to crash?
He said possible
We
final
don't know.
moments. This could be one of those scenarios where you bare your soul only to find out that you will still live, and thus you've bared your soul for no good reason.
Yeah.
It's like the scene in Almost Famous. Have you ever seen Almost Famous? You ever seen Almost Famous?
No.
So there's this moment where the plane is going down, and the band has been having all of these fights throughout the movie, and the lead singer and the lead guitarist, they start yelling at each other, and they bare their souls, and one person comes out of the closet in that moment, and then the plane just lifts back up in the air, and everyone's going to be fine. But they had it out. They yelled at each other. They got everything off their chest.
Wow.
So what would you say, and who is the coworker that you're saying it to?
I don't think that I would probably say anything.
Nothing. Happer has no takes.
Interesting.
No, I don't. I bare my soul every day on this
Interesting.
radio show.
There's nothing that you're keeping inside.
My radio show is my soul.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it matters much who's sitting next to because I'm saying the same thing regardless.
What's that?
Can't win them all.
Oh, my gosh.
If those
So
are my last
you're
words, that
making
would
a
be
joke?
hilarious. I'm making a joke. That's how I cope. But I think it would be funny if you were sitting next to me, and because I think you would take that. I think maybe you'd laugh. The plane's going down, and be like, can't win them all.
Happer would say, haha, good joke, Nick. I can't
And then
wait.
we explode.
He'd be like, thank God I'm about to die.
back.
With
There
a
you
joke
go. I
like
helped.
that, it's good to die.
I helped.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would laugh. I would laugh at that joke.
Would
Thank
you
you.
really?
I would laugh. I'd be like, wow, it
Interesting.
was a great moment of comedic relief before we go boom.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes that's all you need before you go boom.
I don't know who I want to sit next to. Do I want to
John.
sit next to John's, my radio co-host, my work husband for the last decade?
Your idol, your
Yeah.
bright
Oh.
shining star.
You can say something about refs or college divisions, and John can distract you.
Oh, there we go. Where is the soapbox, John? You can't stand on that right now, can you, pal? Crash.
Yeah.
Happer doesn't really care about his coworkers.
I don't have strong opinions on anybody.
Venmo Chris, during our descent to imminent death, I would turn to young Nick and say, "We're about to get mooshy." A plane crashes and everyone is mooshy.
Plane crashes are mooshy.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of mooshiness going on with the plane crash.
I should have used the restroom before this segment.
I thought you were
gonna
saying before the plane crash. That would be hilarious.
I should have used the restroom.
Yeah. You guys
gotta
want to do the crossover?
You got to go?
You really got to go?
I kind of have to go.
All right.
All right, I guess we're doing the crossover.
Disappear. This is unreal. Earlier, I wanted to
Do you
eat
mind if I
during-
just take a little break?
I wanted to eat
Right.
during a segment that I wasn't even involved in, and Happer
Happer.
was critical of me. Now Happer wants to leave
No,
us. and
Happer,
go to the
just
bathroom.
take off one of your socks and go to the corner.
That's not a good idea.
Uh-huh.
That's not a good idea.
You know, a fun thing to think about is that there is a large portion of the audience that only listens to Unsportsmanlike because for whatever reason they don't like the Connor Happer show, or they just forgot to subscribe to the podcast feed, which you should.
Sad.
And so they're like, what are all these references that these guys are making to various things? Nick just told Happer to go to the bathroom in a sock? Why? I love the idea of this person.
If you were there, then you get it.
Yeah. Sam writes, The Hangover Boys, quality performance. I would say that this has been a very quality radio show.
Can I just get 5 minutes?
Well, I just said go.
All right.
Go. Nick said
Leaving.
take a sock. All right, so now Happer is leaving.
All right.
Brandon writes, who are we kidding? If Connor knew the plane was going down, he'd break into the cockpit and bring it down to safety as he thinks he can fly
He
a plane.
would try it. Hell, I would try it.
Yeah.
Between Happer and I, we could absolutely land that
Mhm.
plane.
Sam writes on the YouTube page, well, today is a good day to go back and listen to the Happer show.
Yes,
I
it
couldn't
is.
agree more. Man, Nick, I was just about to tell you, why don't you eat your food? But then it would just be me doing solo
Yeah.
monologue radio.
I won't do that to you.
Happer must be going number 2.
He
Is that
must
why
be.
he said he's got to disappear for 5 minutes?
Yeah, I guess that's why he doesn't need the sock.
Interesting.
Does it take you 5 minutes to poop? Can you poop in 5?
Well, I went during the break at some point during the show because
Oh.
the coffee was finally starting to hit me, and our commercial break was 5 minutes, and I made it back with 2 minutes to go.
I
Depends
feel
on
like
how bad it is.
It depends on how bad it is. That's true. How mooshy is it, Nick?
I feel like 5 minutes is never quite enough for me.
Never quite enough.
Because it's like
Interesting.
you're done, and then you're like, "Am I?"
Travis, Happer and his weak bladder. Sam, Happer is making a mooshy. Oh, my gosh. Incredible. Oh, let's see. Sam tweets in, wonder if other Sam is also like, I'm saying what now when my tweets in get read in. That's 2 forms of in that I don't think belong there. But that's a great point. We have multiple Sams who comment. Maybe I should start calling other Sam Lashun because that is what his Twitter handle is.
Yeah.
I just know Sam. He also said that it was not a problem when I called him Sam.
Okay, because
Yeah.
people have a fake name for a reason.
He's a friend of Chasing 3 Hours. I talked to him, I think his episode was like a month or 2 ago.
Oh,
So there
nice.
you go. Sam was a great guest. He was very, very
Lashun
good.
is kind of a mouthful, though. Maybe we can come up with like another fun name.
Lashun? Yeah. I don't know. So,
Lashun in the sky with diamonds.
nice. Lashun in the sky with diamonds. So, yeah, that's what's been happening on the show today. If you missed it earlier, I don't know why I said if you missed it. We're going to be on until 5 today.
We are.
We're going to be on until 5. Then John will have pregame coverage of Creighton and Texas A&M live from cloudy Las Vegas. It's been cloudy basically the entire trip.
It has been, except for a couple of times where we just get violent sunlight.
Yeah, I can see the sun. I probably shouldn't
Yeah,
look
don't
at
look
it,
at it.
even though there are clouds. But yeah, it's trying to peek through, but it's not doing a very good job.
So I know that it's very hard to tell.
Yeah.
But this whole trip, I've been a little anxious about being able to make it to the airport on time.
Yeah, even though what time is your flight today?
It was originally 6:35.
Yeah, and right now it is 12:05, and we'll be off at 3.
Yes.
Why were you nervous about it?
It's mostly security because Las Vegas, it's a big airport.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people. I didn't know how long it was going to take to get through security. And then after security, finding my terminal.
Yeah. Why are you worried about finding your terminal?
It's a big airport, and I've never done a
This
big
is
airport
your
like
first.
that by
This is your
myself.
first solo experience going to an airport, right?
It's my first totally solo.
But now,
Did two
as you were,
solos in Denver, and that's way larger than Las Vegas.
yeah. See, this isn't even that big of an airport, Nick. You'll be fine. But plus, you learn that your flight's delayed.
That's true.
It's
I did.
delayed by a half hour, which is good news.
That is very
Just
good
read the
news.
directory, and you'll find your place.
See, Joey knows
Just
what's
use
up.
your eyes and use your surroundings.
Yeah, use your brain, use your surroundings. Ask for help if you need help.
We both know I don't have a brain.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I don't like to ask for help.
See, classic man behavior, Nick.
I'll find my own way. I
I-
don't need directions.
You know what I like to do? I love asking for help. I love asking for things.
You
I
do
ask
like
for
asking
water.
things.
I ask for drinks. I ask for money. I tell people to Venmo me at Josh Tweederson if they want to send me money. I love asking for things. Jordan writes, Nick needs enough time to find an ice cream stand.
That is important. I need to have ice cream while I'm watching
Yeah.
planes take off.
Rick wants to know, is Happer doing a Becca on that casino bathroom?
Oh, my
he is,
God.
He is definitely making a mooshie.
He's
He
very
is,
mushy.
He is very definitely making a mooshie right now. Lashun has followed up to Sam and writes, I'm not, since I follow you, sorry that you get a bunch of unhinged thought put into your mouth. The Sam boys.
The Sam boys.
Sam boys with their takes. The Sam boys with their takes. Also, people being a bit critical of Nick's Vegas airport take. Travis, Vegas is a big airport, question mark. Jimmy, Vegas isn't very big.
Why wouldn't Vegas be a big airport? It's a big city. It's a popular city.
I mean, I guess, are you saying it's bigger than Omaha's? Because, yes,
yes,
it's bigger
it
than
is
that.
bigger than Omaha.
But that does not make a big airport that make.
It's bigger than
Than
anything
Omaha.
I've experienced.
There, by yourself.
By myself.
Yeah, and that's what Nick is worried about.
Because, like,
Nick
I've
is-
done O'Hare before, but I was with my mom, so I just had to hold her hand.
Yeah, and that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
O'Hare is a massive airport. If you had to go to O'Hare and you had to change terminals, I might be a bit more worried for you. This is a great experiment for you, though, Nick. It's nice to get to discover how to wander in an airport by yourself. I remember my first airport solo experience was in 2010. So I just turned 22 years old.
Ooh.
Yep. And I made it. I flew into Portland or Eugene, one of those two. Got there totally fine. And I went from Omaha to probably Denver. Got to my gate totally fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And given how early you're getting, I mean, you're going to have plenty of time.
Yeah. No, I'm a little less worried about how long the process is going to be now.
Yeah. How much time there is? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm fine there. It's mostly just navigating.
Yeah. You'll be totally fine. You'll be totally fine. Hey, Mr. Mooshy is back.
Hey, Mr. Moosh.
Everyone realized you had to do that one, not this one. Yeah. I figured when you suddenly said, can I leave? I was like, you know what? I wonder if he's got to make a Mooshy. Travis writes, 22 years old. Nick was explaining to the listeners that he's been anxious all week about traveling home and that he's actually excited that he has this flight delayed. And so we were talking about our first solo airport experiences.
Oh.
I was 22, to which I think Travis might be making fun of me for that. I don't think feels like a normal age to do my
The
first
first
solo.
time I flew by myself.
Yeah, Nick's 27, so if 22 is weird, then Nick's even weirder.
True. I was 26 in March. The
Nick was
first time I
26 in
went through
March.
Omaha.
Nice.
Yeah, it was probably right around that time, same as you, Josh.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
Yep.
I
don't
couldn't
know.
afford to take a plane anywhere.
There's always the parents who like, hey, we got to transport this kid, and they hop on the plane like unaccompanied by an adult, by a parent. I would just feel weird about that.
Yeah.
Do you think
Sometimes you got to
attend-
do what you got to do.
Do you think flight attendants hate that? Hey, he's traveling by himself. Could you watch him?
No, but
please?
they have to like there's special things. They give them special treatment. Like
Crayon.
it's their job.
Ah.
It's their job.
Is this true from Joe? Tell Nick not to look for Terminal 2. It doesn't exist. Fun fact about Vegas Airport is there is only Terminal 1 and 3. Is
Why?
that true? Man, we should have told Nick that his flight was in Terminal 2.
Yeah, Nick, your flight's in Terminal 2.
Don't wander around. A lot of Connor Crapper jokes being made right now, by the way.
Nice.
Crapper,
You guys
more
make
like
all the jokes
crapper.
you want. I feel amazing.
You feel a lot better. You seem happier.
I-
You seem more spry.
Yeah, you really took a load off.
Nice.
Hey, by the way, just quickly, I'd just like to get your guys' opinion on this.
Okay.
Which toilet is the worst in the world?
So I was gonna make that joke before I left, and I just thought it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But so there is a there is a woman in the far end of the pool, and I just want to know what you guys think of sitting by the pool, and eating chicken tenders and French fries.
Well,
not
in the pool,
not by the pool, in the pool.
So that's
Not
not
for
what
me.
I thought you were going to ask, because I also have a question regarding this woman.
What was she doing earlier?
When I went to the restroom earlier, she had this big book full of Greek mythology and other mythology, and she just
fun.
kind of opened to a random page and was reading it.
Are you
in
sure
the
it was a
pool-
random page?
It might not have been
Maybe
a
she
random
just
page.
she doesn't use a bookmark because she has her brain.
Feels weird to read about like Greek mythology in a pool
Reading-
at a rooftop in Vegas.
Is it weird to read
Poll
about
question.
Greek mythology in a pool?
Yeah, I feel like that's normal. You can read
reading
about
in a
whatever-
pool is totally normal.
Yeah, people
I'd be
love
too
reading.
scared.
That their pages would get all wet.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
ruin my book.
I don't read inside of pools. I read next to the pool. I love reading next to the pool. I don't read in the pool.
I am not eating no food in no pool.
Definitely not. You're gonna get chicken tender crumbs all over the place.
And you're gonna get
Ketchup
pool
will-
water on your chicken tenders.
Oh man, your chicken tenders are gonna taste like chlorine.
That's true. You don't want chlorine chicken tenders.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Okay, so
Jimmy
just-
writes, I just pee in pools. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to get that Jimmy's pee all
Yeah.
over your chicken tenders.
How are your socks doing, by the way? Do we need to check them for anything?
Unnecessary.
Mhm.
It was not. Did not need the sock.
Keena writes, first time I flew by myself was probably 21, and I had to sleep on the floor of the Denver airport.
Ouch.
What are
Wow.
you, that Tom Hanks movie? Terminal.
What a movie.
You love that movie.
One of my favorites of all time.
Kelsey
good movie.
writes, I flew by myself regularly starting at 18. Flying solo is the best.
It is very fun.
really fun.
Is it like going to a movie solo? Because I like that.
Oh,
like
I love
seeing a
going to the
movie by
movies
Oh,
myself.
by
it's
myself.
better. It's better.
Yeah?
It's better.
How come?
Where's it on the tier list of doing things by yourself?
I don't know. You just get
What
to
a
be.
question.
You just get to be in your own like you're doing something. It's like you can't be doing anything much else.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to accomplish what you have at your fingertips. Right. Which
Yeah.
is, I don't know, maybe you have your laptop or whatever it is. But there's only so much you can do. So it feels like there's a whole bunch of easily accomplishable tasks, right? Navigating to the airport, navigating through the airport, and then doing only the easy things. I just like checking boxes. It just makes it's like, yes. I was able to do these things, do this.
I've
And
never
it's
thought
so-
about flying that way.
So everything is an accomplishment, right?
Wow. Put that on a T-shirt.
Everything you do is an accomplishment.
Participation trophy.
If you think about your life that way, I think you probably have a better, you have a better mood, a better disposition about things.
just have mental checklists all the time.
Yeah, it just feels really, really good to be able to knock all those things out. Oh man, I got to go all the way from. I got to take this stupid air train from one terminal over to the
Oh,
next,
man, I hate that.
or whatever it is. But guess what? It's an easily accomplishable task.
I guess so.
All you have to do is do it.
Nick, you'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
Don't be anxious.
We'd like to see
You'll
a
be
vlog
fine.
of your experience, Nick.
You should do a vlog.
Just do a vlog.
Yeah. Tell the security people.
Then you're- then you don't-
myself.
Then you don't feel alone.
Nick didn't like that.
No, he doesn't like it when you do Nick voice.
Oh,
Pedro texts in a couple of takes. I missed a couple of flights because it was a big travel day, so I don't blame Nick. Missing a flight because of security line issues sucks. It definitely does suck. Nick is going to have plenty of time, though. But
You
he
should
also
get TSA pre-check.
he also adds, I flew out to California by myself when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. That sounds terrible.
Being 12 at LAX, I would hate.
No, thank you. Greg from Hastings says, first solo plane, 16 years old, O'Hare, largest, Denver and or Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody said earlier, at least Nick's not having to deal with the Atlanta airport. That is a big airport.
This is a direct flight, correct?
It is. I'll be good.
Travis writes, I've never missed a flight.
I've never missed a flight.
Yeah, I've never
Who
missed a
misses flights?
flight. My dad missed a flight recently.
How?
He, the checking of the bag, he was going to do it, but it was too close to the flight, apparently, to check the bag. And he needed to check it, so he did it the next day then. Because he got there like 40 minutes before the flight. So he was there in time, but not in time to check the bag.
That doesn't really count.
You don't
40
think so?
minutes before the flight is
That was a
wild.
choice because he could have got on the plane.
Yeah.
If he, if
Yes, that's true.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, he could have gone through security.
yeah.
So, all right. A lot of mushy conversations. as
Yeah, you're
well.
not. You can't check the. They have like. They always say there's no guarantees that your bag is going to make it on this plane if you get there like before, inside of the 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But they always get on the plane, especially in Omaha where there's 8 bags. Oh, what's that? There's one plane leaving in this entire hour. I don't know if we can make it there in 45 minutes. Yes, they can.
Oh, that's what it was. Is now that I'm remembering my dad's story better. So it was like he got there and there was a certain amount of time. And they said, yeah, we don't do that within X amount of time. They literally were within that amount of time. And so he was like, okay, well, I guess I'll come back tomorrow.
Yep.
And then he flew out the next day.
Yeah.
All right.
What are we doing
That was a
today?
crossover.
What's going on?
Powered by Everlevel
Nice.
Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. When we return, we'll get you ready for the Grum. We have Mike Schaefer on the show today.
I love that guy.
We have Mitch Holthus on the show today. That was funny. You said, I love that guy to Mike Schaefer. And then I said Mitch Holthus.
I don't know Mitch.
Okay.
I've never spoken to Mitch before.
Well,
you're
you'll get to later today.
I mean, do I have to come up with questions?
Yeah. I mean, unless you don't want to.
I mean, the Chiefs just played your Panthers.
yeah,
Talk about that.
Yeah, you can say, what did you think about Bryce
What
Young?
am I curious about the Chiefs?
Yeah. How
Like
mid
you
are
guys,
they?
you guys ask him like
How mooshy are they?
you guys always talk to him about like really specific stuff.
Do we?
Yeah,
Shout out us.
yeah,
I mean, he's a weekly guest, so we can't do big picture stuff with him all the time. We talk to him every week.
yeah.
What do you want me to say? Hey, are they still good? You could
Yeah.
ask him that. Are the Chiefs still good?
Are they going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what my question would be for Mitch.
Sam writes, Patrick Mooshomes.
People are really glomming on to this
Mooshy.
this mooshy situation.
When we finish later, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch
Mooshy
the
for the
original,
first time.
the original Mooshy reference and how it has taken over everything.
Nice.
All right, so we got that coming up. No dumb debates today. We will get fired up for football, and we'll get to the Grum down when we return. Josh Peterson and Connor Happer with you. It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
K-O-Z-N. Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
Happer, the sun has made its way to Las Vegas.
I love you, son.
We love the sun, folks. So we love the sun. It does feel good because it's a bit windy still. I like the heat.
MOOSHY.
It's good on my face.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
Bop, 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 bop. Welcome in, everybody, on this Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve. It is the Grum, Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, zonetv.live, a great website to which you can go to right now, the 1620 The Zone YouTube page.
So many.
Which is where Hot Danger is. He says, Happer, research Patrick Mahomes Sr. and ask Mitch questions as if you don't know there are two of them. Like, how is it possible Patrick Mahomes pitched for the Minnesota Twins in 1992? That would be an incredible bit.
I just go to it's like, hey, Mitch, I don't really pay attention to the NFL. So this Mahomes guy, he pitched for the Twins and the Mets, and now he's the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs football team.
How is that possible?
What's going on?
How is that possible? Isn't he really, really old? Isn't he really, really old?
That would be a fun bit that Mitch. I don't know how he would react. I'm not sure.
I would be very curious to see how he would react. Very curious. So Mitch Holthus will join us at 4:30. Right, Mitch is a 4:30
just talking
guest?
Central Time.
Okay, yep, 4:30. He'll join us at 4:30, which is famously 2 hours from right now, which I know by looking at the clock here that 4:30 is 2 hours from this exact
That's what
moment.
it says.
Yep, indeed. So he'll join us at 4:30. Mike Schaefer is going to join us in about a half hour-ish, and that is the lineup powered by the Rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard, 402-951-1620. If you would like to give us a call, 42 degrees the source hotline. You can also hit us up into the Equitable Bank inbox, Josh at 1620thezone.com, Connor at 1620thezone.com, or Nick at 1620thezone.com. Joey, do you have a zone email, or are you just an NRG
I'm just an
email
NRG email. Jcolbert at nrgmedia.com.
So if you want to email Joey, you can email Joey.
Not the officials.
Joey, what's going on with the Celtics? Are they any good? Are they bad?
They're decent.
Topic alert.
I'm receiving a phone call from my friend who probably doesn't think I'm on the air right now.
Understandable.
Should I take it?
Is that friend in Vegas?
He's going to ask me about a fantasy football trade.
Is this true?
Yeah.
A fantasy football trade?
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I got to set my lineup for this weekend.
I'm not going to answer it.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm
We're
not-
on the radio.
Yeah, all
You already disappeared on us to go make a MOOSHY. Now you're going to take a phone call on the
Dear
radio? Spot the lie, Happer.
That should just show you how important it was that I got up in that moment.
That's true. You were suddenly down really bad.
Yeah.
The look on your face was that of a
Don't
man.
act like, hey, this happens to everybody. When it happens, it happens.
It's going to
and you
happen.
have to go.
It's going to happen to you too someday,
all right.
folks.
It just happened.
To you
I
too.
just happened to share my life with you all.
That's true.
Here on 1620 The Zone.
Yeah, what did you say earlier? You say everything.
Yeah, I bear my soul.
Yeah.
I bear my soul.
You can also find us on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC1620, at 1620 The Zone, at Josh Tweederson, at Connor Happer, or at Grim and Nim. Joey, I forget what your Twitter handle is. Let's see.
Joey, Joe Warcola.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Joey
so
Warcola.
There you go. Go follow Joey. He tweets about the refs a lot.
A lot.
I
He
do.
knows all the refs.
That's
Yes,
the
I do.
JTech
I do
Construction
my
Zone Twitter feed.
do my research.
Yeah, he does in all of the sports. He has takes on football refs. He has takes on basketball refs. Do you have takes on umpires, Joey?
No, I don't. I'm not real big into baseball.
No, none of those. None of those.
Do you comment on college basketball refs?
Jogging ref, Jeffrey Anderson's in town over in Vegas. He was doing the Rutgers game.
I would assume that every ref is in town
Mr. High
because it
Knees.
seems like every college basketball game is here this weekend.
Mhm.
There are tournaments going on that I had no idea even existed.
Interesting.
Major programs here.
Kino writes, Happer handshake meme Otson, bodily emissions during the show.
Yeah, at least I didn't have to do it on camera.
That's true.
That would have been horrible.
Douglas writes in, you know what stinks? Banging on the Jays when they just flat out are a train wreck. So he says,
wait.
I think he's saying leave the Jays alone. They're so bad that we shouldn't make fun of them. He's a Husker fan. He hates the Jays. So he's, I think, showing you a form of pity.
What is banging on the Jays?
Maybe bagging is what he meant. Douglas struggles with the English language, I think, sometimes. I think he types as fast as he can because he thinks he has a funny joke and then he sends it without a little proofreading.
Banging on
He's
the
like
Jays.
Jack Mitchell.
Is banging on the Jays like hyping them up or talking about them in a positive way?
Oh,
talking about them.
So he's saying
like
we're being
banging
too
the drum.
we're being too positive when they're actually bad.
That's what banging on them means?
Context,
Douglas,
please.
could you follow up for us, please? We're all very confused.
Would you like to listen to my new podcast, Banging on the Jays?
Oh, interesting.
What am I doing? Am
Yeah.
I talking positively about them or negatively about them?
Sam, not Lashun, other Sam. We have now, when you were mooshing, we realized we have two Sams in the audience.
We love all Sams.
Yeah, Sam writes, Josh, ever get runner's bleeps? There's an exit now button. That's an exit now button like I've never felt before.
100%.
Yes, I had one sometime
just
last
happens.
year. Dude, I passed a porta potty, and in that moment, I was like, oh, crap. No pun intended. I really got to go. Thankfully, there was another one about a mile away. And when I got there, mooshy. It was mooshy.
Yeah, I mean,
Not great.
So once it hits you, it's over. Like you could hold it off for a little while, but it's you know that the end is near.
Yeah.
And so action will have to be taken.
Charles writes, there's Josh bagging on a commenter again.
Banging.
Douglas is Jimmy Palmer 2.0. And he has responded. Douglas has, Siri! Just type it out, Douglas.
We still don't know what you meant.
Yeah, he said bagging.
Oh, bagging.
Okay.
100%.
So let's see. Bagging on the Jays. So, yes, he was making a joke. He was saying, we shouldn't be bagging on them because they're so bad. Don't even make fun of them when they just flat out stink. And then Debo.
I don't get that.
I don't. Is Debo a new commenter?
Yeah, Debo's new here. He loves the Jays.
Loves the Jays. Says, Douglas doesn't know ball, I'm afraid. That's pretty funny. That's a funny comment. Debo.
What are these people arguing? Or do they think the Jays are good? Or what is going on?
Debo does not like it when you make fun of Creighton. He is out on these jokes. He has not appreciated it lately when I've said Creighton is bad at basketball. He says, what about Nebraska? They're also bad. What do you want from me? I don't care. I think he meant the football program in general over the last handful.
Okay.
He had a comment earlier today about the football program the last couple of years.
I got you.
He says, false, I've been listen 9. I don't know what that means. Oh, listening since 2016. Okay. See, nobody can type. What's going on here, folks?
Yeah, we're just banging on them.
CJ, Jace are mooshy.
I got to get my sunnies out.
Yeah, sun's out, guns out, baby.
Where's my SGs?
Look at that. It's so sunny. Happer's going to have a burnt head. Debo
No,
asks,
I got a hat on today.
Creighton isn't bad. Debo, man, I'm going to disagree with you. I think they stink.
Creighton's bad?
Yes. They're not making the tournament.
But what's bad for
not
Creighton?
making the tournament.
Not making the tournament. So that's now it? If you don't make the tournament, you're bad?
I think for Creighton, I think that's the definition.
Well, why isn't that way for every team?
Because you got to grade people on a curve.
Do you?
Yes.
I mean, the tournament's a pretty hard line, right? Like,
not for Creighton.
There's a lot of opportunities to make the tournament.
How many times have they missed a tournament in the last decade? Like twice?
Twice.
Yeah,
yes.
and that was like the beginning of the decade, this last decade.
Yeah,
it was
the year after Doug,
yeah,
and then there was one NIT year.
Wasn't it the next year after that? And then they just started ripping off.
No, they went to the tournament the year after that. It was like before it was like a Kyrie Thomas, like it was an early, kind of one of those deals.
All right, I'm pulling up the list of seasons real quick. All right, so they missed it the first year after Doug. No, yeah. They've gone to 2 NITs. So they went in 16, and then they went again in 19.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. But
19.
otherwise, they made the tournament.
Click on that. Click on that team.
Which one?
The 18-19
This one?
team. The one that went to the NIT.
All right, I don't remember this season at all.
Just tell me who was on their team.
Oh, wait, I remember they played Gonzaga. They lost to Gonzaga.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
Mitch
Go
Ballock.
to their roster.
All right. So you got-
Tyshawn.
Yep.
So is this
Zagorowski.
sophomore Tyshawn,
Freshman Zagorowski.
freshman Zagorowski,
Martine Krample.
Crumple,
That's right, not Crample.
Christian Bishop,
Ballock
Damian
was a
Jefferson.
sophomore.
That was the team.
Denzel Mahoney.
That's basically the same team that won the Big East 1 year later.
Yeah. So they were 5-9 or 4-9 at one point, and then they won their last 5 regular season games.
Would you
And then
trade?
they lost in the quarters.
Would you trade not going to the NCAA tournament this year for winning the Big East next year?
Yeah, you should. You talking about the regular season or the conference tournament?
I'm
They've
talking
never won
about-
the conference
I'm
tournament.
talking about the regular season.
Yeah.
Would you trade? Because, there's a scenario where Ty Davis and Jackson McAndrew and Fedor Zugic and young people all lead Creighton to the NCAA tournament next year, or to higher heights next year. Maybe this is just a down year.
KD says Josh is relishing in the Creighton losses.
Yeah, you are.
No,
You
I am
sicko.
not. I'm not relishing.
You
in
hate the
anything.
Jays.
I do not hate the Jays, and I'm not relishing.
The
I
Jays
just call
are
it like
the
I
whole
see it.
reason you're even here.
KD, you sound like one of the butthurt Husker football fans that would talk about me in 2021 when I correctly said that they were also bad. Maybe I just know ball. Have you thought about that, KD?
You hate ball. You don't even care.
I meant the
Ball
collective ball.
hater.
All the ball.
Douglas has another comment.
I have an opinion, says Douglas.
Marcus Blossom should call Danom on how to make the NIT. Danom he's probably taken basketball teams to the NIT under his athletic directing leadership.
People probably
when he was the athletic director at Washington.
Debo writes they lost 5 in a row in 2022 and went to the Elite 8. Debo, I thought you were a Jays fan. They lost 6 in a row, bro. Get your stats right, Debo.
Ouch.
I guess to lose 6 in a row, you do have to lose 5 in a row.
They also lost 5 in a row.
Yeah,
yes,
they did.
That is true.
Sam, I think Sam nails it. It's not the end of the world. We're in between eras. McAndrew looks promising. That's the thing.
All right.
You've had a great
That's what I'm
run. You've had a great run. Next year will be better than this year.
So who are you making fun of?
I'm not making fun
I'm
of
talking
Debo.
about the people that are banging on the Jays.
Oh, yeah.
They're banging on the Jays.
Banging
the
Jays.
The Jays suck this
Stop
year.
Jay banging.
How about you win a national championship?
Mm.
Guess what? You're not going to make the Sweet 16 every year. Just most years.
Just most years.
Can't
Now,
win them all.
we got a text about
Can't
the
win
word
them all. Nick's
about the
last
word
joke.
banged, which I will not read on the air. And then one more, a text from the 402. Am I the only one who thinks Josh and Happer's voices sound too similar?
No,
Is
we
that
don't.
true?
We don't sound the same.
Let's say a word together. Let's say hello. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Hello. Oh,
Hello.
you beat me to it. Yeah, you definitely know Nick's voice. Hello.
All right, let's say let's say a different word. Let's say
Zagorowski.
Suck.
All right, Zagorowski. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Zagorowski. Oh man, that was the
Yikes.
same.
Little tough.
Oh,
there.
there was a little deeper.
little tough.
Happer's a little deeper.
All right, we have Mike Schaefer coming up in about 15 minutes. But before that, some sports and sports talk.
What?
Or maybe adjacent to sports and sports talk. We will do that when we return. Connor Happer, my favorite radio host, sitting in today for John Bishop. My favorite radio host that is not John Bishop. Is what I should say. Don't want to rip on John. Nick Grimm is here. Joey hanging out back in our palatial Zone studios. It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Josh and Connor Apper with you. It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Theo writes, live Schaefer interview, celebration emoji.
Yes.
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration.
We're all very excited.
I
Schaefer,
love talking to Mike J. Schaefer about various items, various things.
he'll join us in a few minutes. Speaking of various items and various things, we got the updated college football playoff rankings
Oh, my God. We did.
last night. Connor has not seen them.
Oh, I have.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had forgotten.
I just didn't know where we were going here.
Anything that surprised you as the rankings came out? For those of you who missed it, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, the top 4. Notre Dame, Miami, Georgia, Tennessee, SMU, and Indiana round out the top 5. The highest G5 team is Boise State at 11. Clemson is at 12. Bama 13, Ole Miss 14, South Carolina 15, and Arizona State 16. Tulane, by the way, is 17. So they are the team to keep an eye out for if Boise State drops a game moving forward.
These rankings aren't necessarily surprising, but it's just interesting to think about, the 3-loss SEC teams who are best positioned, Alabama and Ole Miss. I mean, they just need one or two things to happen, and those teams are going to make the playoffs and have a road game in the first round against like Penn State or Ohio State or something like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about how they are going to treat the ACC teams, especially the loser of that conference. SMU finally gets into the top 10. Even though their record is 10-1. It's taken this long for them.
And their one loss is to BYU.
A team that is still in the rankings.
They're good.
Yeah,
they're
ranked
19.
They're ranked 19th right now, so they're still in the rankings. But they are in front of them. Clemson is in front of Alabama and Ole Miss, and they're playing team number 15. And you picked South Carolina earlier today on your show, didn't you?
I did, but that's such a gigantic game.
Oh yeah, it's massive.
That one really snuck up because and Clemson. Their ACC schedule is already done.
Yeah.
So they need, they need to win, but it won't do them anything for the ACC. If Miami wins this weekend, it's Miami and SMU for the ACC title.
Correct.
Clemson sitting there with a top 15 win and a 10-2 record. They might be better positioned than they're better positioned certainly than the loser of the ACC title game.
Isn't that wild that there's a world where they don't make it? And we've had that question now in discussion many times over the last couple of weeks, but what the committee does with the runner-up of one of these games, given that, they would have an extra L, but it's not their fault. And Clemson is maybe the best example of that.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
It's not Clemson's fault. It's not SMU's fault. I mean, I guess it would be their fault they lost the game, but they also had to play the game, whereas Clemson would benefit, in theory, from not playing it because they'd be inside of the top 12. They'd just be chilling there.
I know.
Now.
It's
Pretty wild.
It's great. The ACC is I'm sort of hoping that Miami loses this weekend, and I believe Miami
they play Syracuse.
That's like a reasonably tough game.
Yeah, for sure. Why do you want them to lose?
Just so it would be Clemson and SMU in the title game, and Clemson would win that game, and then the ACC would just be clean that way, right? It would be Clemson in and nobody else.
Yeah.
Miami would be out and SMU would be out.
Hot Danger writes, Big 12 zero-bid league is delicious. There is very much a world where that happens. So right now, Arizona State is the highest-ranked Big 12 team. Of course, they have their rivalry with Arizona this weekend. So, and they are a top 5 conference champion given where they sit. But right behind them is Tulane. And so there is a world where the Big 12 champ is left out.
But the world is not if Arizona State wins the conference. It's if some random 3 or 4 loss team comes from, like chaos happens this weekend, a 4-loss team gets into the title game
and then wins the conference.
And then wins.
Yeah, because right now Arizona State is at 16, then Tulane is at 17. And so that would be the team to take that spot. And then Iowa State and BYU are there at 18 and 19. It would be very controversial, but it would, or rather, they would just need a crazy weekend if this is actually going to happen, which
because
I don't think they're going to get that.
We're looking at a pair of 2-loss teams in the Big 12 right now. Winner gets in, loser goes home.
Yeah, them and Iowa State.
So that's not anything significant. But that team would certainly be ranked over Tulane.
But yeah, if something wild happens.
But would they be ranked over Boise State?
Who? The Big 12 champ?
The Big 12 winner shall chaos not happen. Iowa State versus Arizona State next weekend in Dallas. Winner is ranked ahead of Boise State, yes?
So right now, let's say just by their rankings, that would be 16 versus 18. So you would pick up a win that would remain in the top 25. They would keep the loser of that in the top 25.
It'd be a better win automatically than any win Boise's had this year.
Be much better than any win Boise has had. Man, that's tough.
I say yes.
You think they jump them?
Yeah.
You think they move them up that much?
Yep.
Yeah, there's just so much room between the two right now.
But there is a lot of reverence for Boise State at the moment.
There is.
They have a Heisman contender.
They do. The problem is that they just have been playing in a lot of close games lately.
Yeah.
And they have Oregon State coming up this weekend, and then they have the conference championship. There's a part of me that still thinks Boise is going to get got. They're going to drop out, and Tulane is going to be the G5 team.
And there's something about, too, Boise is the Alabama of G5.
Yeah.
So if it's somebody else who's sitting right there and they've played the exact same,
They're probably not that high up, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like if it's, I mean, hell, you saw what happened with Army and Navy when they were undefeated this year.
That's true. That's
Nowhere
true.
near as much reverence for those teams.
Yeah, and again, their best win is a loss. Their
Right.
best win is that they played Oregon close when Oregon was still figuring itself out early in the season.
Exactly.
Very, very interesting. So that's a little playoff talk. Saw a question in Stuart Mandel's mailbag earlier today that I wanted to throw your way. We'll do that in a little bit. We have Mitch Holthus coming up at 4:30 on today's Grum. But when we return, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Schaefer, Husker 24/7 Sports, he'll join us. We'll talk about the game this weekend. We'll talk about what he expects, maybe some playoff takes, and maybe we'll ask him about the word MOOSHY or socks. Who knows what is to come? He's Connor Rapper, about to smash some food. Josh Peterson. We roll on next with Shave here on 1620 The Zone.
Indeed it was. Indeed it was.
Mike Schaefer.
There's a part of me that really thinks that there's a Sasquatch.
Mike Schaefer.
I think the issues here are largely football related.
Mike Schaefer.
People are like, oh, the Vikings are terrible. And it's like, yeah, terrible teams always go 13-4.
Mike Schaefer.
And I don't feel good for anybody. All my entire life is rooting for sports teams that get as tantalizingly close as possible and then don't win.
Mike Schaefer.
I have no joy in my heart for you or you or you.
Mike Schaefer.
Schaefer will be here in just a moment, and then we will talk Husker football, Nebraska, Iowa.
Yeah.
Maybe even a recruiting question from Connor Happer.
Why do you think?
I'm just guessing. You love recruiting. You are of recruiting.
I hosted a radio show with Mike Schaefer once called The Recruiting Hour.
Do you miss that show?
I love that show.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was a great show. It was mostly Mike Schaefer informing me of recruiting.
He knows his stuff.
He does. He's very good at his job.
People have been saying it for years. Yeah. Not very good at coming into the stream on time, but he does give us his time for free. So beggars really can't be choosers here.
Is that true? Do you think that we're not allowed to be frustrated?
I mean, I always send him the text right when we go to break to hopefully give him more time. Yeah. But his computer, in Shafe's defense, is like ungodly slow. He always is like, I'm having issues getting into StreamYard. And wouldn't you know it, there he is. It's Mike Schaefer. Oh. Hi, Schaefer.
Hello.
How are you?
I am. I'm good. I don't know. Was I supposed to expand upon the hello? There was like sir.
You're always allowed to expand upon the hello if you would like to.
I can't get over just to like shades. You guys are like looking back. Obviously, you're not looking directly at me. You're looking at your computer screens. But he looks very Coach Beardish today from Ted Lasso. The shades are really kind of helping with that whole thing. I mean, this is quite the sports setup to do a radio show, guys. Do you like it?
It's good. Yes, I'm team this.
Look at the sun, Schaefer.
Did you look at the sun when you ran 22 miles today?
How about this?
My computer is ungodly hot.
I haven't run today.
Well, those pillows.
We stayed out a little too late last night, and I woke up this morning at 5:50 when my alarm went off, and I said, I think I'm going to go back to sleep. And I did. Which I haven't done in years, Schaefer. I don't remember the last time that I skipped a run for being sleepy. It's been a while.
So you hit the club in Circa. Where else did you go?
We just really walked around and kind of stared and laughed at people and made inappropriate jokes at each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
we just went up and down Fremont Street for like an hour.
We didn't go to your weird bar that the bartenders berate you and are scantily clad, Schaefer. What a recommendation.
It's a good spot. Hogs and Heifers. It's not far from where you're at. I highly recommend.
Yeah, what does it say about Schaefer?
It just doesn't seem like a Schaefer place.
What would Freud think of Schaefer going to a bar where women wear revealing clothes and yell at you? What would Freud think of that, Schaefer?
I don't know, but he would appreciate that there's relatively cheap alcohol there. So, I mean,
he would just be thinking about his mom the whole time.
Yeah. Well, maybe his mom's up on the bar. Who knows?
Maybe. I'll say the restaurant that you gave us was fantastic, and I got a salad, which I was only mildly ridiculed for. I was surprised that people didn't get after me. I was met with support for the salad selection
from the crew.
I think it's tough to make the salad your main entree. Like, that's a tough look. I think it's a hard thing to pull off.
I think I'm going to call it a seasoned vet move by me because I know how nimble, how light on your feet you need to be in this town. You have to always be ready to consume copious amounts of alcohol, walk copious amounts of miles, and sit in places for long periods of time without falling asleep. So I felt like I was setting myself up for success, and I ended up being correct. I'm a genius.
So the alcohol with the salad is mostly so you don't feel too full, right? Because it's not like the alcohol is going to be soaked up by the salad the way that carbs can kind of help in that.
No, you have to stay light. Yeah. Also, you can drink less and feel the effects more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Plus, it wasn't the other part of the game plan, too. You've been, like, eating so crappy otherwise. Like, you got to get in some lighter food as well.
You're on a trip. Like, you just got to manage it
Plus,
a little
it's
bit.
Thanksgiving tomorrow, which will also be its own thing. It will be its own thing tomorrow as well.
This is a really difficult week to just, like, eat like a normal person, even just leading up until Thursday, because nobody, like, wants to make a normal meal. You're just eating out a lot. And like, there's a reason that today is like the biggest pizza day outside of like the Super Bowl for most people. Cause you don't want to put in the effort because, Thursday, if you're cooking at all, there's a ton of effort or you got to get somewhere. It's just, I feel like it's really hard to eat healthy this week. Like this is maybe the most challenging week of the year to try to eat healthy.
What do you think the biggest Chinese food day is of the year?
New Year's.
Is it this week?
New Year's or Christmas Day.
Yeah, probably New Year's.
Christmas Day, it's a huge deal, obviously, in places that aren't Columbus, Nebraska. But you hear about that a lot. Like people would just go get Chinese. Like if Jewish people aren't celebrating Christmas, they're going to go get Chinese on. So the TV shows tell me. I wouldn't know from personal experience, but
so did that bit start in that movie? A Christmas Story, because they end up screwing up the turkey and then they go to the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, is that why people started doing that?
I think it's just because people knew that Chinese restaurants would be open on Christmas Day, where other restaurants usually are not.
Yeah, for sure. And like Schaefer said, so you have people who don't celebrate Christmas because they are of a different religion, perhaps. Then you also have people that, Christmas sucks for them. They don't have family anymore. Not to get too dour, but then they go It's apparently a pretty.
Or maybe you're working and you can't get together with your family on Christmas Day, but you also don't want to make a meal, so you just stop and grab some Kung Pao chicken and then eat it at home while watching television. There's people like that.
Pao chicken.
Yeah. And this year you can watch football on Netflix.
That's right.
So that will be quite the experience.
If Netflix allows you to watch it.
If it works. So we will see what happens there. Schaefer, we were talking very intermittently today about the matchup with Iowa a couple of days away. I wonder now, as you've had the Wisconsin game to sit with you for 4 or 5 days by this point, and the offensive performance in particular, what you think that means for this last game of the regular season on Friday night.
I don't know how much I believe this, but at least in the sense that it seems plausible to me. What if Nebraska just comes out on Friday and kicks Iowa's ass?
Be a good time.
I mean, they don't have the
again.
They don't. Well, I wouldn't say that. They don't have the pressure of needing the 6th win to get bowl eligible. They clearly just beat up a Wisconsin defense that, while I don't think is particularly good, the week before played tooth and nail with the number 1 team in the country. So they're not complete trash. I think Nebraska's confidence is through the roof right now. The offensive line is playing really well. If the defense is able to hold up against Iowa's 4th-string quarterback or whatever string he is, and at least doesn't allow the big bust gain to Caleb Johnson every single drive out, you have an opportunity to really hold them down points-wise and potentially turn them over and feed off of that as well. There's a part of me that is subscribed to the idea that Nebraska kind of slayed the dragon that existed inside of its own mind, and now they just get to go forward and play a version of football against Iowa that hasn't existed since 2014.
Ouch.
I mean, technically 2016, but you had broken Tommy Armstrong as your quarterback in that game. If everyone remembers, Iowa was hitting themselves with 2x4s full of nails for Jerry DiNardo to get fired up for games that year.
Lots of blood.
Bloodbath game. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So I go back to 2014 as the last time Nebraska would have been in a situation where they just go play Iowa without having to have everything else in their bag, and they can just kind of mentally be free to do it. And because of it, I decided I'm going to buy the scenario where they just come out and move the ball, score some points, and Iowa can't keep up.
Okay. This is a dangerous game, Schaefer, you're playing. Let me try and poke a hole in it. Are you saying that Nebraska has slayed their mental demons?
Yeah, I am.
wow, that's a statement. Put it on the breakout video today.
Okay.
It's a bold statement. It's something that they haven't gotten over for a long time.
So what is it that we think that they're not able to do? Like win a close football game? Is that like the thing that everybody's going to come back to?
It's just I week to week, it's been hard to trust that they're going to be the same team.
Yes.
Be consistent, right? They're only consistent in their inconsistency. So have they taken a step to becoming a more consistent football team?
Yeah, and I suppose you need more evidence than certainly one week sample, and I think that's fair. But I think at the same time last week, at least on each of your respective shows and not your combined show that we are having right now, we talked about Nebraska playing tight and their inability to stay out of their own way, and that everything had to be a little bit too perfect, and they weren't able to win that way. They came out, they weren't tight against Wisconsin. They instead played from a pretty free and loose position. I guess my counter to what you pointed out, Happer, would be if Nebraska can play as free and loose as they were against Wisconsin, would that not result in them being able to at least be effective against Iowa? Like if you feel like they're not carrying that mental baggage and they're able to just drop that off their plate, does that put you in a position where you think they're able to play free and loose against an Iowa team that's, better defensively, but presents they have their own issues that they have to overcome too?
I would still be concerned about their ability to stop Caleb Johnson and the run game against them, just because, as we've talked about all year, Nebraska's safeties haven't been
run
up to
fits are bad.
I don't know, Schaefer, if that's that's not a mental thing for me. I don't know what I would describe that, like what
that's just a traditional discussion in a football game, right? Like, can they stop the run?
Right.
Is what that comes down to.
Okay. So, but specifically, what would you attribute Nebraska's poor safety play to this year? Is it a mental thing or is it just a football thing?
I think it's a football thing. And part of it is I'm shocked that the coaching staff is not willing to at least try a different look back there with different personnel. I mean, if Janiran Bonner and Thomas Fidone can be benched forever on offense, but you continue to play guys who bust repeatedly on defense, I mean, that's where we get into sometimes Matt Rule talks so much that he hurts himself. And so when you have these long conversations about accountability, and then we pointed out on one end of the screen, but on the other, Deshaun Singleton and Thomas Fidone again. Deshaun Singleton and Gifford are struggling. And I'm not saying like these guys should never play again, but is it the worst thing in the world if Caleb Benning or Ramir Stewart or another safety goes out there for Gifford right now? I mean, it didn't get better against Wisconsin. In fact, I would argue that might have been one of the worst games from the safeties this year that wasn't Illinois. And that includes Deshaun Singleton's interception at the end of the game. So I have real concern about those safeties, but I feel like when Nebraska has played very one-dimensional teams, they tend to do well in those situations. And I just don't know that Iowa's passing attack is going to do enough to move them out of the one-dimensional category. Doesn't mean that Caleb Johnson won't get his. I just don't know if Iowa can sustain enough drives, put up enough points for what I think it's realistic for Nebraska to score 27 points on Friday in a cold game against a team where they don't put up a ton of points usually. But that's the sort of version of the Nebraska offense that I think is out there right now.
Mike Schaefer, Husker 24/7 Sports, joining us right now on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Where are you at, Schaefer, with the discussion du jour that everyone's been having, and that is Dana Holgorsen's future at Nebraska? Have you vacillated at all on your opinion since they brought him in? And I wonder if you heard anything in the press conference yesterday that gave you pause or I guess maybe reaffirmed how you've been feeling about whether or not he would return.
Nothing that I heard. I mean, I come at it from this very, very simple principle. I think Dana Holgorsen very much wants to coach football. I am not convinced that Dana Holgorsen is ready to go be a head coach again for all the different reasons that it's tough to be a head coach right now. Nebraska presents an opportunity where he gets to work with a talented quarterback. He doesn't have to do any recruiting. He literally never would have to go out on the road and recruit if he doesn't want to. And spoiler alert, he absolutely does not want to recruit. That is why Dana Holgorsen would not necessarily want to be a head coach again. You know what else Dana Holgorsen probably doesn't want to have to do? Deal with NIL stuff. You know what you don't have to do as the offensive coordinator? Recruit or deal with NIL stuff. You know what you get to do? Play with your grease board. Do whatever you want in terms of your, putting together your personnel arrangements or whatever you want it to be for 2025. And Nebraska can still pay him $2 million and he can still collect off of the Houston deal. Like, there is a scenario here where Dana Holgorsen gets to do everything he wants to do, which is be mad scientist offensive coordinator. And Nebraska gets to benefit because he doesn't have to do the stuff he doesn't want to do, which they will employ other people to do, which is recruiting, NIL, transfer portal. That guy just, there is a real similarity, I think, between him and Bo Pelini in that all they really want to do is focus on their side of the football, have elaborate football conversations about football, and football. Good Lord, never recruit again. That's what I think of those coaches.
Yeah, I kind of.
And if you think I'm over the top, talk to anybody that covered or followed West Virginia football. That man hated recruiting. They still ended up with good players. He still devised schemes that created good players. Didn't matter. He did not want to recruit. And that's why I am very skeptical that he would leave to go be a head coach. Now, is there a better offensive coordinator gig out there? Maybe. But he's also getting to work with a quarterback that I think, by and large, he's pretty excited about in Dylan Raiola. And that, we know, is a big part of being an offensive coordinator.
Totally. I was just going to ask you, Schaefer, what is if it's offensive coordinator and those are the only things that Dana Holgorsen is looking to do? I agree with everything you just said. Assumingly, there's going to be a lot of other schools out there who saw what happened in the last couple games of the season at Nebraska and said, what? You turned one of the worst offenses in the country to a competent average to potentially above average offense. We should go through a Brinks truck at this guy and see what happens. How attractive is Nebraska at that point if more money comes along? Obviously, it's situational, but I feel like Dylan Raiola is probably a big part of it.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think it's largely he knows that he would have his quarterback piece, and then these weeks that he's spent here has allowed him to look at what's on the roster. In addition to what you want to go add, what would he have to work with at Nebraska? What does the pieces behind Bryce Benhart and Ben Scott and Micah Mazuka look like on that offensive line if he were to come back? Who are some of the skill guys that he would be able to work with? And I think that was a big part of why this all happened at the beginning of November instead of just happening at the end of the year or in the normal cycle of when these coaches get hired. I think a big selling point, hey, why don't you come look at what you'd be working at if this is potentially a thing we want to do in 2025? And then you'll have a hands-on feel and you'll know, okay, we need to go get wide receivers. So you tell us we need wide receivers. We can go into the portal and go and do that. I mean, the one thing Nebraska has going for it that nobody else does, he already knows what the roster looks like. He's already establishing some relationships there. He can already kind of look at 2025 and decide this is an area where we got to try to go get somebody out of the portal. This is, we could use this. We could use that. Here's what we already have. This is what I already like. I just think that Nebraska has a leg up in the whole process. And the other thing is they have money. There's no excuse for why they couldn't pay Dana Holgorsen what he'd want to be paid. And that's in addition to the fact that he's already going to get money from Houston, who's still paying out the buyout anyways. So, and then on top of it, I've already said, I think the critical things. I don't know if any other program can set it up the way Nebraska can, where it's you have to do nothing but be the offensive coordinator. I don't know that everybody has that. And he probably could have a lot of say in that offensive, or I shouldn't say could. He will probably have a lot of say in an offensive staff wherever he ends up. So now you're already at Nebraska and you're talking with Matt Rule, and you can already have those conversations in November instead of just arriving in December and being behind the eight ball, needing to go out and recruit because the staff that you're going to doesn't have enough coaches to go and do it. I just think Nebraska's situation is just so much better than him going somewhere else right now, unless it's just an elite, you can't pass it up style program. And I don't know that is out there for him either.
Schaefer, why did Bear decommit?
I don't have an exact why. I mean, I think ultimately Nebraska was never going to take him as a tight end. I think he was going to have to play offensive line or even on defense if he was going to stay at Nebraska. And if he wants to play tight end, he's probably going to look for a spot to go and do that. I mean, that would be my guess on it. I've seen people try to correlate it to what happens with Chase Lofton, the Florida State commit, who just won a state title on Monday with Millard South. I don't know that there's a correlation there. I think Nebraska would take Chase Lofton either way if that's what Chase Lofton wants to do. I think it ultimately comes down to Bear Tenney wasn't going to be playing tight end at Nebraska, so he's probably going to go look somewhere else and see if there's an opportunity to play tight end for someone else.
Schaefer, is right now, are we currently living in the time in which college football coaches are least bent out of shape about people decommitting from their recruiting classes?
I don't know how they could be, because every college program in the country is trying to take someone from someone. Like, it's just a giant, I wouldn't call it a mess, but it's just, there's tentacles everywhere. Like Nebraska's trying to hold on to Jeremiah Jones, who Missouri's trying to flip, who Florida State's trying to flip. Florida State's trying to flip them because they're worried that Nebraska might flip Chase Lofton, their tight end commit. So they need to go get a tight end commit. That's Jeremiah Jones. Like, it's all this just giant sort of, tentacles, all of these different directions. You don't really have time to be upset about losing a commitment, because you probably lost him for a variety of reasons leading up to that moment. And you're probably looking to recruit past him anyways. And oh, by the way, on December 9th, there's going to be thousands of players in the transfer portal anyways. So whatever this kid that you may have just lost, there's probably 17 versions of them of different varying, junior, senior, whatever levels of experience that are going to be in the portal. Like, I don't think you have time to really be too bent out of shape unless it's an elite level recruit. And unlike LSU, Nebraska's not getting purged right now. So it's, I would say things are looking pretty up for the Huskers.
Yep. It's fascinating to see what'll happen in the next month or so.
Oh, it is wild. It is absolutely wild right now.
Yeah, it really is. Mike Schaefer, Husker 24/7 Sports. Schaefer, as always, we appreciate the time. Hope that you have an awesome Thanksgiving with the fam.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good Thanksgiving. Safe travels tomorrow as you fly out. I've never flown on a Thanksgiving. That's, I think, the only holiday that I've never been at the airport for, like, of the major holidays. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be a good one if you're flying Southwest. Maybe you get a free drink out of it. So
I thought that they gave you free drinks on Thanksgiving.
Maybe they'll give you
certain holidays that they do.
It may. I think it's changed over the years, because I was looking at the little booklet, on the flight the other day, and now Halloween is one of them, but not Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they pick different holidays each year, and then they have like certain ones. I think New Year's, Christmas, their anniversary, like their creation date anniversary. Those are like the standards. And then because I've gotten free beers on St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
I've gotten a free beer on 4th of July as well. So.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. All right.
Maybe they'll give us a can of that cranberry sauce as we walk onto the plane.
Oh, that sounds so mooshy.
What if you walked onto a plane and someone's sitting there and they have leftover, like, Thanksgiving, like their family is eating Thanksgiving meal on the plane with just a Tupperware and everything? I think that'd be horrifying. The smell would be so bad. I don't like people eating on planes because there's nowhere for the smell to go. Like,
that's right. Yeah.
You're next to someone with stinky food.
Yeah, it stinks up the whole
hard.
plane.
Yeah,
it really is. Shape, man, have an awesome Thanksgiving. First one as a father, right?
Yeah, it'll be good. I have something to be thankful for this year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And a good football team. They only have 2 losses. People forget.
Nobody thinks they're good. I'm thankful that everyone's just going to keep underestimating them.
We will. We definitely will. Bye, Schaefer.
See you guys.
That's Mike Schaefer joining us here on Unsportsmanlike. Speaking of tomorrow, I just received a text message from.
I have received a text message.
I apparently am on the same little ride over with you at 3 a.m. Pain.
Really?
Very, very much pain.
How have you found this out?
I got a text saying, "Hey, just want to confirm your departure." I would have been like, I thought it was going to be at 5, but no, it's at 3. Ouch. I'm going to sit at the airport
for like 3 hours.
Time to listen to Bill Simmons and Chuck Klosterman tomorrow.
Well, you can get that changed.
Can I? I'm going to ask.
You can get that
My flight's not until like 7:45,
yeah,
so that would be.
You should get that
I'm going to
changed.
ask. I'll ask.
As much as I would love your company,
it'd be nice to hang out.
I would welcome
a
it.
Longer.
Actually,
yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do that, you could just get on my flight.
Remember, I'm going to Denver, though.
I'm also going to Denver.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Interesting. Could I just walk on it with you?
Consider it.
Yeah. I did. So I ended up not doing the early flight because I wanted to sleep in, but I guess if I have to do this, maybe I ask, and then I arrive in Denver a little bit earlier. See, but then my family would have to come and pick me up, and then we'd have to, because then Riss isn't getting in until 10-something, like right before I am supposed to land. So I don't know. I'll talk to the garage people. We'll see what's going to happen. Trains, planes, and automobiles.
There's trains in Denver.
We'll be doing all sorts of stuff. All right, we have Mitch Holthus still to come. We have predictions still to come. We have Fired Up for Football still to come. Let's get fired up when we return. Brought to you by War Horse. We will get fired up. You grunted, we get fired up. And then we give grades.
Oh, crap. I haven't done that.
Yeah, I forgot to give a grade, too. I'll just kind of vibe it out.
I'll vibe it up.
All right, we'll do that when we return. Josh Peterson and Connor Happer with you on this Wednesday, live from the Circa Casino and Resort. 1620 The Zone is partnering with Circa to hook you up with Creighton tickets. You can win a pair of tickets to every Creighton men's basketball conference home game. Sign up to win right now at 1620thezone.com.
The year of our Lord 2024. A year that promises great change and great conflict. The accusations are already streaking across the rhetorical skies. The citizens are restless. It is a time of civil war. In college football, a new 12-team playoff marks a new chapter. An entire league has crumbled, and in its wake comes 4 mega conferences seeking to restore order to their championship games. How will ties be broken? Draw cards, a vote, a coin flip, an arm wrestling match? The National Football League brings its own unique drama to this action-packed card. The Chiefs go for an unprecedented three-peat. A new kickoff will restore action to special teams. And Aaron Rodgers will attempt to set a personal Jets record of 6 plays in a single season. Friends of the program, lend us your ears as Unsportsmanlike Conduct and Warhorse Sportsbook proudly present Fired Up for Football 2024.
Indeed. It is time to get fired up for football, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook. We are happy to do so on the last full weekend of the year.
I'm excited for college basketball tonight.
Oh,
we're going to watch a college basketball
it.
game, a lovely college basketball game. I'm watching a college basketball game right at this very moment.
You are such a monster.
I am fired up for those things.
No, Happer, it's not fired up for dumb basketball. It's fired up for cool football. And let's get to them right now. We, of course, begin with the weeknight games. Sadly, in this moment every week, Happer, John doesn't include Wednesday. And I yell at him and I say, what about Maction? What about Maction?
Maction sucks.
And there's also
nobody watches Maction. Everyone on the Everyone on the internet just says, oh, I can't wait till Maction's back. This is going to be so good. No, you're not watching this. You're not.
I don't think I've watched more than a few snaps of
There's
Maction this
no
year.
chance.
So there are no Maction games tonight, though, so we have to move to tomorrow. The college slate, Memphis at Tulane. Maybe do a little scouting report on a team that could get into the playoff if they get a little bit of help. And speaking of that help, could it be in the form of Oregon State taking down Boise State on Friday morning at 11 a.m.?
I just think you have better options for tomorrow night than Memphis and Tulane.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that stuff.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that's going to be a pass.
No Egg Bowl on Thursday because it's actually on Friday. Oklahoma State at Colorado on Friday, 11 on ABC. Remember, 2 Big Ten games this year. The first one is at 11 a.m. on CBS. Minnesota at Wisconsin. Later on that day, Mississippi State at Ole Miss, the aforementioned Egg Bowl. Apparently, Happer, a lot of Georgia fans are worried about their primetime matchup with Georgia Tech on ABC. Like, maybe they'll lose. That's what some Georgia fans are saying.
That's weird.
I don't think they're going to lose.
Why do they think that?
Utah at UCF, which is just a garbage game. Absolute garbage. And one that I will not be watching because I'll be watching Nebraska at Iowa on NBC. And don't forget, Big Old Reaction with you and Jack Mitchell coming up.
That is just 2 days away.
Wow.
It feels like it's lifetimes away from now.
It's not, though. It's just 2 days.
There's a whole holiday in between.
There is a whole...
We have to travel halfway across the country.
Yeah, we have to go to the airport. Some of us at 3 a.m.
Some of us
at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. Of course, Overreaction coming up on 1620. The Zone 101.9 The Cake.
So far, not impressed.
Wow, not impressed as Happer. Let's see if he's impressed with the Saturday slate. We got some traditional rivalries coming our way. Saturday, 11 a.m. on ABC, Tennessee at Vandy. Big Vandy game there.
No.
We already talked about this one multiple times today. Number 15, South Carolina, and number 12, Clemson on ESPN. Massive game. Playoffs and vibes of inside of the state of South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I'm going with South Carolina, and I like that game.
You are indeed?
That's a fun game.
Michigan at the second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes on Fox.
Always a great watch. The hate is real.
I love this game so much.
The pageantry,
Yep,
the whole thing.
Yep.
And for the last handful of years, there's always been a threat of the favorite, the team that is favorited being painfully upset by their most bitter rival. That feels like the way it's been.
It's happened many times.
There hasn't been all of that many stakes for both. I guess you always have some stakes when you're playing each other, but you know what I mean. Like in the bigger picture, it just always felt like, well, Ohio State needs to win this to get to the national, the national title picture. Same thing with Michigan over the last 2 years. This is the same way. Ohio State needs to keep this, and they definitely cannot lose to Michigan.
No, it would be the fourth one in a row. Also at 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network, I think John included this because it's at Wrigley, so if you want the visuals, Illinois at Northwestern. No, thank you.
I don't need to see Brown Wrigley Field.
No. 2:30 on CBS, Notre Dame at USC. 2:30 on ESPN, Miami at Syracuse. That's a big one. Miami needs to win to make it to the ACC championship game. If they lose, Clemson will go in their stead. Iron Bowl, 2:30 on ABC. Man, the vibes with the Crimson Tide right now are very, very bad. Very, very bad.
Not good.
2:30 on Fox, Arizona State at Arizona, and Maryland at number 4, Penn State. Penn State wins that one, and they lock up a home playoff game. And obviously, they'll be rooting for Michigan tomorrow to make it to the Big Ten championship.
It's so funny how Penn State's rival is Maryland.
It's so stupid. Yeah, you look at a lot of these games, and it's like here's a new last week of the season game, Oklahoma at LSU. Again, talk about a weird one, and how about Oklahoma getting that big win? And so it kind of changes the mood around Norman for the Sooners. The one that I think college football fans are, I think, collectively most excited for, and we have been all year. A little bit of the shine is off of Texas and Texas A&M from Kyle Field on ABC because of that Aggies loss. But this is a win and into the SEC championship game scenario for both teams.
That's
so
right.
The stakes could not be larger. The loser, well, certainly Texas A&M, they lose, they're not going to make the playoff. Texas loses, it'll be interesting because they do not really have a good win this year. And so how they would be treated by the committee would be pretty fascinating. Same time on NBC, Washington at Oregon. We have Kansas State at Iowa State, a couple of ranked teams on Fox. Farmageddon there. That's a big one. Other ones, Nevada at UNLV on CBS Sports Network at 7. Virginia at Virginia Tech on ACC Network at 7. Houston at number 19 BYU at 9:15 on ESPN. And Air Force at San Diego State on FS1 at 9:30. And then going into tomorrow, what a glorious day it will be. Bears at the Lions on CBS. John, let's see. Hope the tryptophan kicks in fast bowl. That's the Cowboys hosting the Giants. Dolphins at Packers on NBC. And then on Black Friday, the Raiders at the Chiefs on Amazon. And then the games in the Omaha and Lincoln area, all of them are the same on Sunday at noon on Fox. The Cards at the Vikings. Noon on CBS, Steelers at the Bengals. Eagles-Ravens on CBS is the mid-afternoon game. Massive matchup. Lamar Jackson, people forget, he's awesome against NFC teams. Go Baltimore. Sunday Night Football, 49ers at Bills. Yikes. 49ers.
Yikes for one team.
This could be the end of their season. Browns-Broncos is the Monday night game. Out of market games, Chargers-Falcons, Colts-Pats, Seahawks-Jets, Titans-Commanders, Texans-Jags, Rams-Saints, and Bucks-Panthers. That's a pretty...
It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird returning to our the motherland and not having all of the games on a gigantic screen and my eyes burn at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch them all on one screen on NFL Red Zone.
Very sad. After what we had the last week, it's been glorious. Now, John, I think he's assuming what my grades would be because I didn't send these in, so maybe they're last week's. He gave it an A-, and overall an A-.
Wow.
I'll go with an A for the college slate. NFL, I think B+ is actually pretty solid. Maybe a B. Overall, an A- sounds about right.
It's rivalry week. A whole bunch of crazy stuff is going to happen.
Yep.
And no matter if the games actually have stakes or not, they always end up good because of hate.
I'm so sad that it's all coming to a close. It's a bummer. I hate this time of year. I hate this time of year because we're in Vegas.
The sky is blue. I'm looking at palm trees. I'm warm.
Yeah, I'm really toasty right now.
This is hard to understand.
Yep. Well, don't worry, Happer. Tomorrow you'll be back in Omaha, and you'll be chilly.
And it'll be Thanksgiving.
Like the good Lord intended. Coming up at the end of the hour, it will be our happy hour for today. We can get into predictions on what we expect for the games this weekend, including Nebraska and Iowa. Mitch Holthus is going to join us an hour from now as well, and other stuff. I have so many things that I'd written down, and I just don't know if we're going to have time for any of it, Happer, because our show is almost done. We have an hour and a half left. It's been a little too sports-pilled lately. Let's see if we can be goofy. If anybody has any topic alerts, send them our way. Maybe we could finally get to the Mike Farron topic alert, and we'll do that when we return. Josh Peterson, Connor Happer with you. Nick Grimm is behind us doing copious amounts of work on his laptop. and Joey Colbert hanging out back in our Zone studios. More to come on 1620 The Zone. Here we go indeed, baby. Nick, you are confirmed for 4:30. Josh Peterson, Connor Happer with
Overtime.
you live from Stadium Swim at Circa Casino and Resorts. We have been here since Sunday. We have had an amazing, amazing time. And I love seeing tweets like this one from Mike. Honestly, really enjoyed you and Connor and Nick just having fun on the radio the last couple of days. Was a fun couple of days. El Scorcho, similar sentiments. Been home all day with a 3-year-old and a 1-month-old. You guys have been a great hang. I love you all.
Wow, a lot of love in the air.
You always wonder how a day like today especially lands for the audience when we get a bit goofy and we talk about socks and things being mooshy.
I think that it's good to have a goofy show sometimes. It breaks up the monotony. That's why I like summer sports talk radio so much.
People do love summer sports talk radio.
Do they?
Well, some people probably hate it.
I don't think we have data to support that.
The data actually says the opposite. The data actually says the opposite.
But there are definitely some. We have great loyal listeners.
Yes. And
Many.
we appreciate you. And a reminder, it's still AM radio. Kyle tweets in, noted Wisconsin fan
Oh,
Kyle.
you punched any walls lately?
Wow. Now, this is in regards to the conversation we were having with Mike Schaefer earlier this hour, One game completely changes everyone's opinion about this team every single week. Maybe 2 games in a row would be cool to see before thinking they have slayed all their demons.
Hey, Kyle, we're handshake beaming on that.
Wow.
One.
Wisconsin fan, Nebraska fan, come on in for the hug.
I was sort of surprised by Schaefer's answer to that question.
Yeah.
Like that's a really big picture thing that we talk about daily, weekly with this football team that has affected them for a long time.
Yes.
And they got over one of the humps to get their 6th win.
Yes.
And they certainly look like a much more confident team, a team with swagger at this point. But they have looked like that at small moments throughout the last decade as well.
Yeah.
You know? And they never turned it into anything. So
when is the last time?
It's a strong statement.
When is the last time that they have put together 2 consecutive strong performances against power competition?
Dear Lord.
And then you could ramp it up a bit more and say, when's the last time they did it against, rivals or peer schools or however you want to refer to Wisconsin and Iowa?
Michigan and Northwestern 2021.
That's solid.
Weren't those games back to back?
Yeah, and they went 1-1, so they obviously didn't go undefeated in them, but they did put 2 really good performances together back to back. How they perform? I mean, that Michigan team, we didn't know it at the time, but they were on their way towards a playoff.
They played really well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the second game, they still fumbled.
They did. They did. So when's the last time they did it in consecutive games? Again, power competition, and won both of them. How long has that been?
Oh, boy. There's a lot of qualifiers in there.
There is.
When's the last time they won 2 consecutive power games?
Well, I mean, they did earlier this year when they beat Purdue and Rutgers in back-to-back games. But
nobody felt great about those.
Those were not strong performances. Yeah, and so, that's the point is, to echo your sentiments, it's hard to it's totally hard to buy in on it being a thing, given that they just have not proved that. And yet, I am someone who does find himself agreeing with Mike Schaefer on this, because I have also been someone that has been saying for a while that I think that they'll play a lot better when they're looser. Now maybe I'll look like an idiot on Friday night as Iowa shuts down Nebraska's offense and they're unable to score points and all sorts of things happen. But I have been someone who has thought when they got the monkey off the back that things would be fine. Well, we'll find out if I'm right.
I like where the positivity is coming from. I like the origins here. The origins are the offense kind of seems fixed.
Yeah. Isn't that funny that that's what it is and not the defense right now?
That looks like a confident piece to your team right now. It's not just like, hey, if we get this guy in here, then he's going to change the entire thing. Yeah. Although, ironically, that's kind of what Dana Holgorsen has done.
Yeah.
Even though there wasn't much hype surrounding him, nobody had any idea how this was going to work out. It's among the greatest surprises that we've ever seen in Nebraska. Positive surprises that we've seen in Nebraska football.
I still cannot believe all this.
But to Kyle's, I think, point, if they don't win on Friday, or if they go back to looking like crap on Friday, then
all this has been for naught, right? At least this discourse has.
Yeah.
We had that question yesterday from Jimmy that perhaps triggered me a little bit, and I was yelling then at commenter Jimmy and other people.
Yeah, you love to yell at listeners.
But, I mean, he did ask an interesting question of, what happens in the offseason if they don't perform well? Are people still as bullish on everything moving forward if the offense struggles? I, for the record, think they will be because there was enough against Wisconsin. And, this. If they play bad on Friday on offense, you do have this built-in excuse of, yeah, but what did you expect? He's only been on the job for 3 weeks, which is funny because we didn't say that last week, but we would probably start saying that about a performance versus Iowa.
I would say that it's against Iowa.
Against a good defense?
A much better defense.
For sure. This is good. It's a defense that's going to challenge them way more than Wisconsin.
I don't think I would go back to, uh-oh.
I'm just taking a picture.
I don't think I would go back to, it's only his 3rd week on the job. You got to give him a break.
Yeah.
Now, those conversations are over now. You've had success. You've proven you can do it, right? It looked better than it has all year, sans first half Colorado and sans parts of the Illinois game last week against Wisconsin. So those you can't go back to that now.
Yeah.
You can't go back to he's new. I don't know. You got to give him some time.
Let's go to the 42 Degrees The Source hotline, which is where Trevor awaits right now. Trevor, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. How's Vegas?
Great. We're having a lovely time.
It's nice and warm.
Fantastic. It's adult Disney World out there, that's for sure. I was just giving you a call because I'm positive boy today. So when Nebraska beats Iowa on Friday, they will finish 7-5 in the regular season, which, 4 or 5 weeks ago we would have thought was crap, let's be honest. But let's also look at this. In the 7 wins, they will have beaten 3 of their most hated rivals, both old and new, in Colorado, Wisconsin, and Iowa. I will take that with a 7-5 season, and I think 90% of the people at the beginning of the season would have said the same damn thing. So go Big Red. Happy Turkey Day.
Thank you, Trevor, for the call.
Happy Turkey Day.
He is right. If you were to offer in the preseason a 7-5 record and you guarantee wins over Colorado, Wisconsin, and Iowa, first of all, a lot of people would sign that. And then a lot of them would say, wait a second, how in the world are we going to beat those 3 teams but lose 5? What has happened to the season otherwise? And yeah, it did go off the rails a little bit. But man, we talked earlier about that 2018 Iowa game and how when it immediately finished, everyone was like, can we start the 2019 season now? Depending on what happens in the bowl game, I cannot think of another season that will have finished and people would be so ready to go for the next year. I mean, I think back all the way, Happer, to like the 2005 season. And that was the year where they finished with a win over Kansas State. Then the Restore the Order game versus Colorado.
Incredible recruiting class.
And then they beat Michigan. And it was just like, oh my gosh, can it be 06? Can it be September 1st or whatever? Today, I remember I felt that way that whole offseason. I was so excited for the following year. This has the potential to do that if you get a win on Friday.
Yeah, I was trying to poke holes in what Trevor said there.
Wow, classic wanting to disagree with a listener.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if that made sense. Nope, he's right. He's completely right. If you would have, like, there's no way you turn that down, right? Yeah. 7-5, and you're beating Wisconsin, Iowa, and Colorado. There's just no way I'd be able to turn that down because 7 was a reasonable win total in the first place. And then if you told me like you're winning games that are important, definitely you would have asked, okay, where the losses coming from?
Yeah, you would be very confused by where the losses came from.
But finishing on a strong note like that, beating Wisconsin and Iowa, yeah, absolutely.
James writes, does Nick melt in the sun? Nick has a pillow over his head right now.
That's right.
We got a great photo of it, Nick. So
I mean, I got to defend my guy here.
It's sunny.
Yeah, there's no escaping it. I should say that there is actually an escape from it. And it's actually very simple.
What's that?
He could just move.
There is shade.
Plenty of it.
There is a lot of shade.
But he doesn't seem interested. It seems like he might be holding the martyr baton.
I could go over to that chair. I just realized.
There is a chair.
You just
Nick.
realized that, Nick? It wasn't that I just told you?
Oh, interesting.
No, I just realized that I could have gone over to that chair.
After Happer told you.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It wasn't intentional.
Interesting. Thank you for saying martyr baton because now I know what graphic I'll put up for the commercial break.
There you go.
We have Mitch Holthus. Excuse me. We have Mitch Holthus.
What are you, me?
I know. I breathed in some of that air and it hit my throat.
I still haven't thought of any Chiefs questions.
Well, you got to ask about Patrick Mahomes Sr. then, I guess. Mitch Holthus will join us at
Maybe
the bottom.
I'll just take a little walk.
What? I didn't ditch you during any of your set. Again, you ripped into me for eating.
Maybe I'll go downstairs and would you like a Diet Coke? I could get you a Diet Coke.
I have water. Look,
Do you want a Diet Coke?
I don't want a Diet Coke, Happer.
Nick, do you want a Diet Coke?
I don't want a Diet Coke, thank you.
I'm gonna go downstairs and get a Diet Coke.
Happer wants to leave.
Happer,
Unreal.
I don't have any takes. Josh,
no takes.
We have gone this entire basketball game, and you have not mentioned it one time.
Gonzaga's down by 4.
I at one point was pointing at the screen.
Yeah, you were like, it's over.
Imploring you, Josh,
yeah.
talk about this game.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted me to talk about it.
Just noticed it. You know, it's like I'm over here waving in the corner. Notice
to be fair,
I'm Tom Hanks on an island.
To be fair, when I look up, I see the sun, and then there is the game there. But the sun, it hurts my eyes.
You need to get some polarized lenses, baby.
I do have polarized ones.
I'm
not wearing them right now, very sadly.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing?
That's a great call, Happer. That's a great call.
Gonzaga might lose to West Virginia. Tucker DeVries.
Wow. Let's see. Levi in Colorado. Let's cancel the segment. We're all having fun right now. I think that was in relation to Mitch Holthus.
Oh, I don't think Hy-V would like that, right?
You can ask Mitch Holthus how he feels about socks and MOOSHY.
MOOSHY. Yeah, there are many things that you can ask Mitch Holthus about.
Yeah.
All right.
There's been an injury.
When we return, it's time for predictions, Happer. We will go through the slate. Now, I guess if you wanted to leave, this would be the time to do it.
Really?
That'd be mean and hurtful. I still stayed here for your guys' picks. I just had the occasional quip.
Yeah, you didn't.
I didn't participate, though.
You didn't really do anything.
Because we have our own predictions that I have to get to.
Nick can be here for your quips.
Yep, well, Nick will be here for our clips.
I'll be here.
All right, we will get to predictions. Mitch Holthus at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. And Happer, there's only an hour and 13 minutes left.
Can you believe it?
It's almost over. We're almost 6 hours deep into this thing, and then it'll be done. All right, we do predictions. Get ready for the weekend next on 1620 The Zone.
It'd be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
When you're gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for predictions.
Over, bet the over. Vikings in the over.
Oh, baby. It is indeed time for predictions, week 14 in the Weakness Takes. And before we get to that, a reminder that the Zone team is proud to team with the United States Marine Corps and Toys for Tots for Stuff the Truck 2024 is coming up a week from Friday and Saturday. You can stop by the Zone parking lot at 50th and Dodge, and you can drop off new unwrapped toys for children in our area. All donations will support Toys for Tots. You can also donate at NRG Media during business hours through Tuesday, December the 10th, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. If you are unable to make it in person on those days. Sponsored by Woodhouse Chevy, Molina Healthcare of Nebraska. All the details can be found at 1620thezone.com. Let us get now to predictions. Happer, I'm down bad, man. I was up. I was feeling good. I was dominating. And now I am 10 games behind John. It is very sad and very depressing.
Well, you are not in last.
No, that would be Nick Grim, who is 109-36 this year.
So what's the punishment?
We're not doing that
MAGA
anymore.
tomato.
MAGA tomato.
We're not doing that anymore, says the guy who's in last.
Interesting.
I mean, we only did it. We never really did it except that one time.
Interesting, Nick. Very,
We
very
got Big
interesting.
Tooth over here.
Big teeth boy. We begin with the greatest rivalry in all of sports.
Why is there a Michigan State logo?
Because I put in the wrong Michigan.
Nice.
My bad.
It is not the Michigan State Spartans at the Ohio State Buckeyes.
It is not.
It's the Michigan Wolverines.
Z game.
Michigan 21-point dogs. John has gone with Ohio State. Nick?
Yep.
I will also go with Ohio State.
Wow. All right. So I am going to try to steal a point because I, of course, am going to go blue.
You're playing from behind.
Yeah, and I think that they have a chance here, like to make it interesting, just because it's a rivalry.
You're just a Michigan guy.
Well, I might be.
You're just an Ohio State hater.
Nick did use the proper logos for our next game. It is the Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn. I am going to go with the Tide minus the 11.5. Nick.
Give me Auburn.
John also has Auburn in this game. Happer, I don't think you guys picked this earlier.
We did not.
Who
We
do
did
you
not
like?
consider it to be among our biggest games in college football this weekend.
Wow, fascinating. Who do you like?
I would go with the Tide.
You will go with the Tide as well. You're a smart man. Texas at Texas A&M. A game that will have a lot of stress for a lot of people. The Longhorns are minus 5.5 as they make the trip there. John is going with the Aggies of Texas A&M. Nicholas, what will you be doing?
I will also be going with the Aggies.
Wow. So I will be the lone person to say hook 'em.
Yeah, I'll be going with the Aggies as well.
Wow. Interesting.
That's what I'll be doing. Call me Aggie Man.
Well, I guess I will. Why do you like Texas A&M in this game?
Because I don't like Texas.
Okay, hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
Notre Dame at USC. This is a afternoon game on Saturday. Notre Dame trying to win and host a playoff game. USC trying to ruin their season. Nick.
Give me USC.
Nick is going with USC. John is also going USC. I like the Irish. I'm surprised that John's not going with Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is playing some damn good football right now.
I'm with you. Notre Dame.
Damn good football. We go to the Big Ten. Minnesota plus 2.5 at Wisconsin. John is going Minnesota. I am also going Minnesota. Nick?
Give me the Badgers.
Nick will be the lone person to go with the Wisconsin Badgers.
Wisconsin's
next,
in mega hell.
Yeah, they really are. They're having a bad time. South Carolina is 2.5-point dogs on the road at Clemson. You picked South Carolina earlier today. John is also going to pick South Carolina. Nick, who are you going to pick?
South Carolina.
Wow, so once again, I am on an island. I am going to go with Clemson here. I'm going to go with Clemson.
Contrarian.
Probably a stupid pick, but it's also a home game for them. It's also a home game for Clemson. We go to the Big 12 Conference. Great logos, first of all, Nick, that you included here.
Thank you. It's
Classic.
my favorite Iowa State logo.
Yeah, it's a very good one. I like the font in that one. Kansas State plus 2.5 as they travel to Ames to take on the Iowa State Cyclones. Of course, Iowa State is playing for a trip to the Big 12 Championship. They win. They are in. John's going Clones. I'm going Clones. Nick.
Clones.
So the Clone Boys. Happer, who do you like in this one?
I think I picked K-State, but I like neither team. You know what I mean? So I would just take the points.
Yeah, understandable.
Give me the free points.
There was a comment just now from Andy. How did Nick end up in Guatemala?
Guatemala?
Nick, how did you end up in Guatemala?
Nick, you're in Guatemala?
Do I look like I'm in Guatemala?
You do.
You suddenly are in the shade is what's going on with Nick over there.
I moved to the other corner.
Yeah, Nick is doing a good job of staying nice and cool now. To the NFL slate we go. We begin with the first game on Thanksgiving. Bears plus 10 at the Lions. I think Detroit is going to absolutely roll in this game. They are a wagon. John also likes Detroit. Nick?
So the Lions are pretty famously bad on Thanksgiving.
They are. That is true.
But they've also been a pretty famously bad franchise up until right now.
I am going to play the odds. The
go with
wrong
the Bears?
team.
Whoa.
That's definitely
the
not
Bears.
true.
Okay. All right. Interesting, Nick. Nick, speaking of teams that perform poorly, the Dolphins are plus 3.5 at the Packers. Actually, they performed very well on Sunday.
I know where Nick's going.
Yeah, John's going Dolphins. I'm going Packers. Nicholas?
Yeah, fins up.
Wow.
Dolphins.
Contrarian.
Oh, Joey. Who do you
Go
like
Pack,
there,
go.
Harper?
I would probably.
Who does Joey like?
I would probably go with the Packers. Probably go with the Packers.
Going with the Packers. So you join me. Go Chargers at the Falcons. The Chargers are -2 as they look to rebound from that tough loss versus the Ravens. Nick.
Give me the Chargers.
Wow, we're all going to be Chargers pilled then.
Go Chargers, go.
Shout out Joey. Good work, Joey. John is also a Chargers man, and of course I am. Go Chargers, go.
So funny.
It's such a good drop.
Thank you, Arnold.
Thank you, Arnold. We very much appreciate you. Eagles plus the 3 at the Ravens. What's the stat? Lamar Jackson, I think, has 1 loss or something versus NFC teams.
What's Lamar Jackson's record against other bird-related teams?
Oh, that's a great question. Call.
Every time there's bird-on-bird stuff,
you
just wonder.
Yeah.
What's Lamar Jackson's record against birds?
By the way, he's 23-3 versus the NFC. 23-3.
You're gonna find his record against the Cardinals, the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know if I can find that versus bird teams. Ravens, obviously. Nick.
Ravens.
John is also going Ravens. Are you a Ravens man, Happer?
I think I would probably pick the Eagles here, actually.
All right, we get to Nebraska props as we get ready for the game versus Iowa, which will make John happy. I don't like talking about or hearing about any teams that aren't situated in the state of Nebraska.
Wow.
What a random, weird comment from John, who's had a lot of them lately.
Very funny.
We begin with first touchdown score. Look at the graphic that Nick has made. Look at the graphic.
It has
that
outlines.
Nick has made. It does indeed, and it also has Thomas Fedoni.
You don't think he's going to do it?
Well, he could.
He would have to play.
First touchdown score. Got him. John's going with Dante Dowdell. Nick.
Give me Mr. Banks.
Damn it. That's who I'm going with. Bark, Mr. Banks.
Can I add one into the equation here?
Who do you like?
How about Heine?
That was the other person I was thinking between.
Heine first touchdown hit last week.
Emmett Johnson, rush/receiving yards, over under 115.5. He had almost 200 on Saturday versus Wisconsin. Nick.
Give me the over.
All right, you're the only one to say that. John and I both like the under. Happer also likes the under. Next prop, Caleb Johnson. He has had a tremendous season, over under 149.5 rushing yards. Nick?
I will take the over.
John will also take the over. Happer will take the over. I will take the under.
Why?
He'll rush for like 146. Still a lot of yards. 150 is a lot of yards.
He'll get injured in the third quarter.
Nice. Yeah, in the first quarter he'll get hurt after he has 120
yards. And Josh will proclaim on Monday, I was right. I was so right.
The bet with cash, Happer. Best bet with cash. Iowa passing yards for the next prop. Over under 99.5 yard. Nick.
Under.
John also went under. I am going to go over. A tiny, tiny over. What do you think about that one, Happer?
Yeah, I don't know.
99.5 is just
It's just not a lot of yards.
So few yards.
It's just not a lot of yards.
So few yards. And before we get to the game itself, our upset of the week. John is going with Vandy plus 11 versus Tennessee. Again, we talked about it a little bit earlier in Fired Up for Football. Give me Oregon State plus 18.5 versus Boise. Remember, we get a point if they cover. We get 2 points if they win the game outright. I almost went with Michigan here to have a little fun, but I decided to go with Oregon State.
Sicko.
Nick?
Happer, why don't you share yours?
Do I have it? Was I tasked with one?
Nick definitely doesn't have one right now. He always forgets.
All right. Well, I could probably come up
Nick,
with
this means yours is going to hit. You always are great at this.
I'm really good at weirdly good at the last minute picks.
Yep.
Give me Northwestern over Illinois.
What's that line?
Plus 7.5.
All right. Nick likes Northwestern.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Houston over BYU.
Houston over BYU. Interesting. BYU, a third straight loss if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we get to the Nebraska and Iowa game. The line is at 5.5. The total's at 39.5. Happer's been saying it all week. He likes the over in this one. You already picked Nebraska earlier. What was the score that you picked?
27-21.
27-21. John likes Iowa.
Sicko.
To win this one 24-20. I'm going to say that the good vibes roll. Give me Nebraska 27-24. Nick?
24-21 Iowa.
Oh, man. So you and John have basically the same score.
Basically.
And let's see.
No covers, though, for you guys.
No.
By the
no,
Hawks.
by the Hawkeyes.
By the Hawk pickers.
0 covers and an over for all of us. An over for all of us.
Interesting how that works, isn't it?
Uh-huh. And that will be this week's edition of predictions. I believe we have one more iteration in this
portion.
Yeah, the weakness takes. Jimmy writes, Iowa 17, Nebraska 13. God, I hope I'm wrong.
Go Hawks.
Sam writes, Huskers 37, Iowa 28.
That's
too
points.
high score.
That would be awesome.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody got into the 30s.
It would not shock me at all
No.
in this game. Not shock me at all. He says, welcome to the Danaverse.
I love that.
Welcome to the Danaverse. All right, we have Mitch Holthus coming up at the bottom of the hour. A lot of things that we can talk about with him, and I can't wait to see which of the things Connor Happer has prepared for that conversation.
I might be somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't
Are you
know.
just going to leave?
Oh.
You're going to say goodbye?
I'm getting a phone call at 5:30.
Another fantasy
4:30.
trade?
Yeah.
Peter writes, Nebraska 35, Iowa 9. Ken says Huskers 24, Iowa 17. Max says Nebraska 24, Iowa 20. A lot of same scores going on here. A lot of same scores. We'll take a break early here so we can come back, stretch out our legs a little bit with a variety of discussions. Trying to think if we have hit everything that we promised that we would hit in terms of all of the bits and things that we do. I believe that we have.
NFL reaction, overreaction.
We did never get to NFL reaction, overreaction.
Even though the new week is starting.
Even though the new week
Tomorrow.
is indeed. Wow.
But it hasn't started yet.
It has not started yet. That is true. All right, we'll come back. Mitch Holthus, bottom of the hour. This is our final hour here live at Stadium Swim. We have a college basketball game on in front of us right now from Maui. Who won the Gonzaga game, Happer?
West Virginia.
West Virginia won the Gonzaga game. Very, very cool. A reminder, speaking of football, big game blowout, bowl game blowout rather. $15,000 giveaway is going on at 1620thezone.com. You can enter there to win right now, and you can enter to win big this holiday season, $15,000. Again, get enter to win right now at 1620thezone.com.
Nick Grim for Circus Sports Iowa, your home for college and pro football. With games tomorrow and on Black Friday, Circus Sports Iowa will help keep you company all throughout the holiday. Props, live in-game lines that update every break, and, of course, those tight money line splits. Let's take a look at see what we have on the slate for tomorrow. The Giants plus 155 over Josh's Cowboys. The Packers minus 170 to beat my Dolphins. And on Black Friday, of course, we have to look at the Iowa-Nebraska game. The tight money line splits has Iowa as a minus 180 favorite. The points total, as we just mentioned last segment, 39.5. However you want to play it anywhere in the state of Iowa from the comfort of your own home with the sportsbook that gives you all the hospitality of Las Vegas at your fingertips. Download Circus Sports Iowa today. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Circa hanging out at Stadium Swim watching basketball like Maryland 41, Bucknell 22 late in the first half.
That's a great game.
Auburn is playing somebody that I forgot.
Memphis,
because it went to a commercial.
Come on, man.
And
come on. What? This feast week.
Yeah.
This is as good as it gets.
This is as good as it
This
gets.
is so good.
I mean, I do.
Sorry. I thought I was.
Nick's
I love that guy.
Nick, he's a great person.
Incredible guy.
Yep, he really is. Pedro texts in, speaking of guys we love. Hi, guys.
Oh, hey. Hey, Pedro.
Are you guys in on mashed potatoes? Did you know that the French outlawed potatoes in 1748 because they believed it caused leprosy? In 1772, it lifted the ban. Do you think we will find out that smoking is good for our health?
Why do you think that they thought it caused leprosy?
It was the 1700s, Nick. They thought everything caused leprosy back then.
They thought
a woman
that
had
weird,
an opinion, and they said, which?
They thought that weird helmet would save mental illness.
Yeah.
Fair. You don't think that would help you?
No, it would actually make my mental health a lot worse.
So
but it would stop the spread of mental health issues.
So your favorite author and today's podcast guest of Bill Simmons,
L. Ron Hubbard,
for 2 hours and 40 minutes, Chuck Klosterman. He wrote a book one time
Kobe
called
Bryant Teeny.
I cannot wait to hear that. So weird. So he wrote a book called But What If We're Wrong? And it was essentially like looking at various things that at one point we were like so strongly like, this is definitely blank. And then you've proven to be wrong.
Like,
and he
like videotapes or
videotapes.
We were right about videotapes.
This is definitely blank.
Yeah, videotapes.
Oh, I
this
see.
This is the way.
Yeah.
Videotapes.
People do people miss videotapes?
Well, it's clearly not the way anymore.
No, it's not. Oh, I see what you mean.
DVDs aren't even the way.
I mean, I was thinking more of like how people thought the Earth was flat, and then they figured out it was a globe.
I thought you were talking about like videotapes.
Some people thought that.
Text me.
Some people thought about gravity, like it wasn't gravity. It was like the ground wanted us to stand there or something.
Oh, weird.
You know, so like all of that to say this, Happer. What will there be in 100 years that we look back on 2024 and say, man, we were really wrong about that? And it can't just be like an opinion. Like, you can't just be like, wow, people thought X. No, not about that. I'm talking about like something that we think we have an actual understanding on with like gravity or science or whatever that we are just so off on.
Well, whenever they find the cure for cancer, it'll be like, damn, that was just there the whole time and nobody figured it out.
Like, who knew it was just a bunch of honey?
That would be amazing.
Go to the store, get one of those bears of honey, and bang! You get to drink one of those, bang, your cancer's gone.
Baby, right? Poll question: does everything cause leprosy?
Armadillos for sure cause leprosy.
Sam writes, I think Happer is Grum drunk.
A little bit. I'm a little sick of doing radio today. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
I feel like you have hit a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking over at
I'm
you.
just ready to not be sitting here.
Every commercial break, Happer gets up, and I feel like he's just going to fold his computer and walk away without saying anything.
He's not coming back.
Well, last one I had to go to the bathroom really bad.
Yeah.
It was pee-pee that time.
It wasn't a...
No.
Speaking of that, Sam writes, 2024, piss sock is gross. 2044, the piss sock is the way.
Pissock actually cures leprosy.
Maybe that's what cures cancer.
I'm telling you guys don't do that. You guys don't
Piss on our socks? No. Can't say I do.
Just like, there's a little bit on the floor. You don't like reach over to grab the toilet paper or reach all the way down to the ground. So you just...
No, the toilet paper's right there. I don't want to get pee on my socks.
Somebody, I think it actually was...
pee, man.
I think it was Sam who was talking about how, like, this is what he does. He brought up that, like, yeah, but toilet paper is expensive, and then you don't have to be wasteful with toilet paper to clean up your pee.
You could say that too.
Tay writes, rather, Happer looks like he's going to explain to me why the economy is going to get better under Trump. Happer, will you do that? Are you going to explain?
Why
to
are
her?
the eggs going up in price again?
Yeah, Happer.
Do I look like that?
I can see it.
Really?
I can see it.
Really?
Kenneth writes, they already cured cancer, but too much money involved in treating it instead. Stay woke.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
That also sounds like the opinion that the guy who would explain why the economy would be better would have.
Definitely. Tom tweets in, JTech Instructions on Twitter feed. This is really nice.
Hi, Tom.
I have been preparing food for tomorrow for the past 5 hours and listening to you guys. Your shenanigans have kept me sane. Laughing while crying emoji.
Now, if you could find a way to get that food here and repay us for what we've done for you today.
Yes, that would be
amazing.
Or at Venmo, Josh Tweederson.
No, don't pay Josh.
You could.
No, don't do that.
You could. Why not?
Don't give Josh money.
Why not? Buy a steak with it.
It's just.
What if a listener gave me $100?
I don't like it when people say, "Here's my Venmo."
Oh well, sorry, I just did it.
Text me.
Yeah.
Text
I don't
me.
like that.
Yeah, well, I guess I did. So you are out on the people in their Twitter bio how that when they have the little money thing where you can just send them money.
Yeah, it's super weird.
I think Nick has that. Nick, do you have that
No.
turned on yours? Oh, okay. I think Jack Mitchell does.
I don't want people to send me money.
Don't
Like
want
if they
people to
owe me
send you
money,
money.
then yes, send me money. But I
I
don't.
owe you
I
money
feel
still
weird
for
if people
last
just give me money.
Yeah, you guys both do
Yeah.
this. Oh, actually, Nick,
Yeah.
kind of gave me some
Yeah.
little money. Yeah.
Sam writes, people forget we used to share cleaning towels at family dinner.
Yep. That
God.
was one thing we definitely.
We used to be a country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How about this from Amazing Daniel? I think it's the cancer one. That's the kind of conspiracy I wouldn't spread, but wouldn't be at all shocked if it turned out to be true.
Or no, are we sure he's not talking about the piss sock curing cancer?
Maybe that was the one. How big of a shocker would that be, Happer, if you turned on the news tomorrow and they were
if
like,
you drank some honey, or
they were like, we actually had figured out the cure for cancer, but big hospital has been keeping it down to make money. Who would get sued for that?
It'd probably
Oh
be the
my
pharmaceutical companies, not the
Oh,
hospitals,
you think
right?
that's who it would be?
I just can't believe I wouldn't. I can't see the world that cynically.
I can't either.
I'm incapable of it.
So here's the thing with like grand conspiracy theories like this.
Yeah.
There's too many people who would be involved.
Correct.
It would leak.
Correct.
Like it would come out. We would just know.
Yes, especially one this large. Like, this would be even grander than like if JFK, if there was an inside job or whatever.
Right.
Because like that, you can talk about the levers of power, people high up, et cetera, et cetera. This would go back, you would presume, years, and would involve how many hospitals and all sorts of things.
Right.
How
That
many
many people
pharmaceutical
can't keep a
companies?
secret.
No way. More conspiracies coming in. We could have done this earlier.
Yeah.
Text from the 402. 100 years from now, sunscreen causes cancer, not the sun.
Well, I don't know.
That would be wild. Brett, Minnesota, in 100 years, we'll look back on 2024 and find it was wild that we had to drive cars on the ground. That's one that people have been hoping for years.
We were thinking we were going to be there already.
I am
Nick is very anti-flying
I'm
cars.
anti this. You've seen people cut you off in Omaha traffic. Could you imagine them cutting you off, but in the air? That's more dangerous.
Yeah. It would be really bad.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't
you're
mean to
good.
do that.
Like people have a hard enough time just on the ground that you don't need to give them another access to worry about.
But there would be we've had this debate before. Like there would be sky roads. It would be the same as on the ground. Yeah, it wouldn't be just like random things flying into space.
Yeah.
It would be like sky roads.
Sindelar writes, can you guys start drinking so I can start drinking?
Alex,
it's 4:19, man. It's 4:20 in 20 seconds.
Josh has already proclaimed alcohol canceled.
It is an alcohol-free night for me.
That
doesn't stop you, though.
A wild proclamation.
Wild? You were the one who said you're out on beer, and like every time I see you, you have a beer in your hand.
I'm not out on good times, though.
You're not out. Hey, I'm not out on them either.
Good times, great oldies.
Strigori writes, people can't drive with just the X and Y. The Z axis is chaos.
That's what I'm saying.
Is the Z axis like this?
It's the up and down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be pretty wild.
So maybe you got to get to a certain, maybe there's certain levels.
Yeah.
Right? There's certain levels.
Seems dangerous.
There's the 5,000-foot road and the 10,000-foot road.
I don't want to guarantee it, but if I had to place a bet, I would say we do not ever have flying cars in our lifetime. I would say that that's not something we're going to do.
I agree.
Definitely not common. Not like public use flying cars. No.
Because the FAA is going to have to get involved, and they're already not as staffed as they should be.
I don't know if that's the thing that I'd be worried about.
I mean, that should be a thing you should be worried about. They're going to have to regulate it.
It just seems like we're very far away from the cars getting to that point and society getting to that point before we have to start worrying about the FAA and their lack of willingness to move fast.
Matt writes, tell Connor to check his tweets.
All right.
Connor will check his tweets. Brett in Minnesota adds on top of the flying car thing, I feel like we're closer than we think to Uber drone. So you take an Uber that's a drone, like, hey, I'm going to Vegas, or I'm going from here to the Strip. Let me hop in Uber drone.
Elon is trying to do that robot Tesla taxi thing.
Oh, interesting.
Matt asked me if I wanted any money.
Oh, interesting. Whoa, Matt, no,
but
Happer doesn't want money.
He said, I can't share with the beggar who's
Oh, come on.
No, Matt, I don't want to eat it.
For the record, I'm not begging.
Matt, don't give me any money.
It's mainly
don't.
100 years from now, I think we'll look back and we'll realize that pillows and water were more important than gold.
Yes, thank you, Nick. Now that is a very good take. Sam, tired flying car, wired car that runs on pits. Oh my gosh!
Why does he keep making piss
Well,
jokes?
because that's what the show has been. Amazing Daniel, it's actually really unsettling when you start realizing how many conspiracies turned out to be true, but it's enough later that people don't care. Ooh, like what?
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, I need some examples.
Yeah.
You talked about the aliens thing because I think we all just know.
What do you mean?
Well, the government's there's aliens under the water. Like,
Is that what
we have
people
evidence
say?
of these aliens that have come up
Aliens
from the ocean.
under the water.
What's like? Give me the greatest example.
The best
of a
conspiracy theory that turned out to be true.
true.
Yeah, I'd love. And for the record, I'm not like disagreeing with Daniel.
I just don't know.
Yeah, El Scorcho quoting me. I think I'm not out on a good times. Great T-shirt. Yeah, put that on a shirt.
I think I said that.
Oh, you said that? Is that a hat
Oh,
shirt?
go to that place on Fremont Street and get that on a onesie.
Yeah.
Beringer fan says, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, we already have flying cars. They're called helicopters.
That's fair, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Andy, people still
do
get into-
helicopters have wheels?
Poll question:
Yes.
Is a helicopter a car? So wait, could a helicopter drive on the street?
Well, people call planes air buses.
They do. Pedro says, hi, guys. Tesla cars already drive without anyone touching the steering wheel. We would not be driving in the air. AI would be driving the flying cars.
See, the cool thing about Teslas is sometimes they screw up and crash or just explode.
By the way, Amazing Daniel has followed up, and he mentioned this a few minutes ago. It was the Tuskegee air experiment, right? Is what, and I forget. What is that? Oh, that's the syphilis thing?
Yeah, that's when they were injecting black communities.
Yes.
And then the thing where the CIA put LSD in a whole town's water supply.
Yikes. Man, it had to make dinner wild.
What's for dinner? Whoa.
Yeah. Let's see. Sam writes, kangaroos were a cryptid originally because they were like, there isn't hopping giant rats there. And then the educated moved to Australia and they were like, holy hell, they exist. I got nothing for that one.
Kangaroos were cryptid originally because they were like, there isn't
Who's
hopping giant
They.
rats there.
I think he was just maybe making a joke, and I think I just missed it.
The
while I was reading.
educated moved to Australia, and then they were like, holy hell, they exist. Oh, so people thought that kangaroos weren't real.
Yeah, they thought people were just making something
Oh,
up,
really?
like the Loch
Yeah.
Ness Monster.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Joel writes, 1620 handshake meme, Art Bell.
You think there's a world where, like, there's just a whole bunch of Loch Ness Monster?
I don't understand the whole Loch Ness Monster
It's just
bit.
it's supposed to be a dinosaur that survived, but
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
It hangs out in a little lake by itself.
it's a loch, not a lake. It's Loch Ness.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the difference? What's a loch?
I don't remember the difference, but I know that a loch is not a lake.
All right.
All right.
It looks like a lake to me.
Well, this was quite the topic alert. I had a good time.
Yeah, did we miss any topic alerts?
I mean, there was the one from Farron.
Okay, so it's like a Scotch situation. A loch is just in Scotland.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So it's the
just
Scotland
a lake, but it's in Scotland.
So it's the Scotland Monster is apparently what that is. Oh, Jake Ferguson's not playing because of a concussion. Sad. All right, when we return, speaking of the NFL and a game that will not be played on Sunday, Mitch Holthus will stop by, and we'll look ahead to the Chiefs matchup with the Raiders.
I love Mitch Holthus.
You do, and you've been looking forward to
I
this
do.
interview all day.
Mitch is very, very good at his job.
Yeah. I love talking to Mitch. So we'll
Yeah.
talk to Mitch when we return, get you ready for Chiefs and Raiders, and then we will say, see you later, because we have to get in an Uber, not a drone, but a regular Uber, and go to the Creighton game.
That's
So
right.
we'll make our way towards the Strip in very sunny
Wonder how
Las
traffic
Vegas.
is going to be.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because I guess it's 2:30. I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect. from
Could be
traffic.
anything.
It really could. So we'll talk to Mitch Holthus when we return. It is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with Josh Peterson, Connor Happer, Nick Grimm, and Joey Colbert here on 1620 The Zone.
You ready? The most exciting announcer in professional football.
Picked off at the goal line. 20, 15, 10, 5. Jalen Watson.
Welcome to the... Nobody can paint a picture with words quite like he can.
They might just be gargling in the nectar by that game. I think the rectal buzz that you get from the seat, maybe,
The man.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
The myth.
You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
The legend of the Hy-Vee salad bar.
You want to chuckle? Guess what? Right now, in the parking lot of the St. Joe Hy-Vee.
Mitch Holthus.
A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game. 25-22.
And right now, we welcome the voice of the Chiefs, brought to you by Hy-Vee, the official grocery partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. It is Mitch Holthus. Mitch, happy Thanksgiving. How are you?
Same to you, Josh, and to you, Connor. What's the over-under that John's going to make it to the game since he's in Vegas?
Oh boy, we are also in Vegas.
Yeah,
we have to take we have to take an Uber from where we're at Circa.
Our odds are much worse.
Yes, much. Though John was enjoying, Mitch, apparently yesterday, 2 beers for $5. So we just don't know how many of those 2 for $5s he ended up having. So that could play a part in it too.
And that beer is brewed just 10 miles north of Las Vegas in the basement of a guy's still. So. It's is it Old Milwaukee or no? It's Old Reno or something. Anyway, yeah, but John's never fallen for the old cheap beer trick.
No, he certainly is not. So we'll keep an eye on him when we arrive at the arena in a little over an hour. Mitch, before we get to the Black Friday game, let's talk a little bit about the one on Sunday versus Carolina. Kansas City at one point up 20-6. They have to end up kicking a field goal as time expires to move to 10-1. It's funny how every week we have you on and it seems like we're having a lot of the same discussions, but I wonder as this one is unfolding how you are seeing it, because again, another one of these 1-score wins, but coming against the Panthers, I have to imagine that there are some interesting conversations happening right now in Kansas City.
Yeah, especially after the game, the 24 hours after the game now. All of the attention is turned toward the Black Friday or Red Black Friday game against the Raiders. But, yeah, I mean, you look. There's a crazy stat for you, Josh, and the fact that if the Chiefs win another game by 1 possession, it will be 14 straight wins by 1 possession. That'll be the longest string in NFL history. And the 80% of their wins this year by 1 possession, meaning 8 of the 10 wins, is the best in NFL history by a defending Super Bowl champion. The only teams closer were the 91 Giants at 75%, the 2013 Ravens at 75%. So what is all that saying? That's saying that this team we're just kind of copying and pasting these games. Was there concern? Yeah. I mean, the 5 sacks of Mahomes, which tied a career high, that's up there. And then the fact that you couldn't get Bryce off the field. I mean, you couldn't get these guys off the field. You held down Chuba Hubbard, but, Bryce was making big-time plays on 3rd down over and over and over again, and you're like, wow, who's David Moore? But so that's all troublesome, and you try to get it fixed.
Mitch, I found the reaction afterwards you were just touching on a little bit interesting. Obviously, you're picking at some of the negative parts, but still, the Chiefs find a way to win. I don't find it to happen very often that we hold NFL teams to this standard, that not only do they have to win, but they have to look good in doing so. I think there's a balance to be struck there with that kind of team and a team who's battle-tested and wins games close as well. Like, how much value have the Chiefs gained by winning these close games as you turn your attention toward the playoffs?
Well, Connor, when you do it in historic proportions, which is the stat that I just gave you, you really have to start kind of rethinking the narrative here of, they're just getting by the hair of their chinny chin chin, or do they have a propensity to win these games, which is noble when you think of sports like basketball. Hey, Max, 10-1 in games decided by 3 points or less. That's considered a virtue, but not in the NFL. But I think it is virtuous when you set an all-time NFL record, at least tied with the 0-4. And, oh, by the way, here's who they're tied with right now with 13 straight one-possession wins. This will kind of help the perspective discussion. It answers your question. The 0-3-0-4 Patriots. Okay, we seem to forget. We think they blew everybody out 41-7, but they were winning the same way back when they did the back-to-back Super Bowl championships in the early 2000s. So, yeah, it's a matter of perspective. Does there have to be things better? Yeah, but I could also tell you there were 9 guys that caught passes. 7 had double-digit receptions in that game. And then you're able to hold as Spags calls them, 4-point plays, where give credit to the Panthers. They get down there, but they had to settle for 4 field goals. Any one of those becomes a touchdown, the Chiefs lose. But they didn't. And now you get ready for this game against the Raiders.
Hey, Mitch, one more on this kind of the winning of the close games thing. You know, over the years, and especially in basketball, we have seen like defending champs where the conversation is always like, they just want to get to the playoffs. They just want to get to the playoffs. Now, that is a much different sport because it's obviously a longer grind in terms of just the raw number of games. But I do wonder what you think about that idea with this group of like doing everything they can to get the wins, but maybe, you know, saving some of that energy or saving some of the game plan or saving some of the plays for the postseason. Any merit to that discussion, do you think?
There's such a volume in Andy Reid's iPad that I think it's not unrealistic to assert that. I don't know if he does it intentionally to say, hey, let's save this one for when we really need it. Although, I wouldn't rule it completely out just because of the volume and what he's got, something north of 800 plays, which is ridiculous. But I do think there's just something to the fact that this is a group that has won. They've won a lot. They've won more than any team in the NFL, really since 2019, the beginning of the year. And they're doing it. Well, you always play the hardest schedule. And, when we compare it to other leagues, and you're saying more of a grind with more games. But every one of these NFL games, is equal to what? 9 MLB games or half that 5 NBA games. But even in those playoffs, those sports always have a best of. You're trying to set up here, if you're the Chiefs, to get a 1 seed, the only, 1 seed available for a 1 and out. It's the NCAA tournament. It's not best of 3 or best of 5. So these games all mean everything. There's no such thing anymore as a bad loss or a good win. That went out the window in 2021. Here's another one, I think, for perception. Everybody talks about scoring differential. You're supposed to blow everybody out, and the Chiefs are plus 52. And there have been 61 teams that have started 10-1, and they're 60th of the 61 teams with that plus 52 scoring differential. But the team that had less at plus 42, the 1976 Raiders, and they won the Super Bowl. So it's a perception here because you're comparing yourself. Are they bad? Well, I don't know. When you see who else was in the category, they all won Super Bowls. So there's stuff to work on, stuff to fix, but this team is winning it while they're fixing it.
Mitch, widely expected this week that the Chiefs will activate Isaiah Pacheco off the IR. Kareem Hunt's been a pretty serviceable fill-in in the meantime. I guess, what are you expecting this week, if anything, from Pacheco and out of that running game?
This is the old version of the wrestling tag team where you tag out and the next guy comes in with a chair and beats the guy over the head. Like, I'm excited about it because if you have a 3-headed monster of Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine, that's a pretty good group. And they all do different things. Now, Pacheco will give them a chance to give them a bigger run. Go back to his 48-yard run against the Jets. And what Kareem Hunt has done, he's been a godsend because how many times did the Chiefs have 2nd and 5 and 3rd and 2? The Chiefs are number 1 in the NFL right now in third down conversions, and it's really not close to second place. Well, some of that is due to Kareem Hunt getting 5 yards on first down. That was different than it was been in the past or recent past. But then you throw in Pacheco, tag in, tag out, and Pacheco can run for 40 if he breaks through. The other thing that's exciting are these running backs are getting way more involved in the passing game, and not just checkdowns. They're getting involved at the second level, some third level, or if you break a tackle, you get to the third level, and that's another good step forward for this team to get running back production in the passing game.
Sounds like Aiden O'Connell is going to be the guy under center for the Raiders. You did not see him in the first meeting earlier this season because of the injury. He hasn't played since back on October the 20th, played in 4 games this year. How are you expecting that changes the Raiders' offense?
Not much. Remember, this is the Chiefs have won 7 straight at home. Last time they lost was to Aiden O'Connell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and to Aiden O'Connell, who did not complete a pass in the second, third, or fourth quarters. Marinate on that one a little bit. And I'll give Aiden O'Connell credit. You look at him and you're going, hey, I want this piece of this cut of meat at high V. But then he comes out and plays good football, right? So it's not going to change the offense at all. Now, White's not going to play. Zamir White's not going to play. And he was big last year against us, rushed for 145 yards. So it's going to be Madison and the old Husker, Amir Abdullah, just keeps hanging around. But the real threat for the Raiders is in Jacoby Myers and also in Brock Bowers, who's been awesome. In fact, he's going to bust the tight end records for rookies that was set last year by Sam Laporta. Those two guys, Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, no matter who the quarterback is, it could be Darryl Lamonica or bring back George Blanda. Those guys have combined for 66 targets in the last 3 games. They're a mess. They're a problem if you're going to play them because they can keep the chains moving. And O'Connell has the ability to be a little bit more accurate on some of his shorter intermediate throws than Gardner Minshew.
Excited for a Black Friday game? Famously, Kansas City playing on every day of the week this year, but Tuesday. Do you like this?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, it's, the Chiefs have a history of playing on Thanksgiving. Lamar Hunt, our founder, loved it. The AFL really kind of created what Dallas is doing. Because why does Dallas get the 3 o'clock game? Have you ever wondered that? Like, okay, I get Detroit. They've played at noon on Thanksgiving since 1934. But Dallas, how come they get the 3:30 game every year on Thanksgiving? Well, it's really, I think, a product of Lamar and the AFL because they had the later window, the old days, the NBC 3 o'clock window. And Lamar loved Thanksgiving football, went back to his childhood and college big Thanksgiving games. And so, boom, they give it to Dallas. So, but the Chiefs played the first NFL Network game on a Thursday night. You remember that? So anyway, it's it's like Nebraska, Oklahoma on Black Friday back in the day. That's what we got here against the Raiders.
Should be a whole lot of fun coming up on Friday afternoon, and nice that Nebraska and Iowa is the night game. So for the fans of both, no overlap at all, and they'll get to enjoy or commiserate with either of the 2 games. Mitch Holthus joins us every Wednesday at this time, brought to you by Hy-Vee, the official grocery partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, again, happy Thanksgiving. Have a great call on Friday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Same to you guys. And breaking news. You want breaking news?
Would love it.
Definitely.
We have signed Johnny Rodgers and Joe Orduna since it's a Black Friday game to play in this one for us.
Perfect. You got a great punt returner coming your way.
Okay, good. Hope to get a big play.
Yeah. Thank you, Mitch.
All right. See you guys.
Mitch Holthus, who joins us each and every week at this time.
Congratulations to the Chiefs. People are saying the Chiefs are like the Dodgers now. They're just signing everyone.
They are. Jordan writes, because Dallas wants to blind everyone with the sun. I was going to make a similar joke. Have you ever thought about why Dallas gets that game? Yeah, so they can have the sun come in and blind everybody and make me mad.
You know what's amazing about the sun?
Well, lots of things.
You know, when the clouds come over the sun, it gets a lot colder.
Dude, it really does.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just like some clouds.
Yeah.
You ever think about that?
It changes the deal quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. Now I'm happy I have pants on.
Great conversation with Mitch.
Yeah, you were excited for this all day long. Every commercial break, you're like, I can't wait to talk.
You know what? It's really, when you think about it, it's not that hard to come up with questions about the Chiefs.
It's not. They are so in our lives. It is so funny to think back to so we started talking to Mitch 9 years ago. 2015 was when our station got the Chiefs. And so they asked us, hey, do you want to talk to their play-by-play guy? And we were like, sure. That year, Happer, I'm pretty sure they started 1-5. And our boss at the time, Dave Tepper, was like, hey, if you guys want to start cutting these interviews shorter, don't feel like you have to talk to them for 10 to 15 minutes. You could just do a question and say, see you later.
Mm-hmm.
Then they end up going on a run. They make it to the playoffs. And, they're good. They're solid. Those are the Alex Smith years. But, they lose in the playoffs, and Mike Stibbs is a very happy camper. And then they draft the greatest quarterback of all time. And now we get a chance to talk to the voice of the best franchise in the NFL. And so to all of that to say this, it is so easy to come up with questions about them because they are so pervasive in our lives. It'd be like if we talked to the voice of the Cowboys. Even though they stink, they are so pervasive in all of our lives. But the Chiefs are just great.
Gosh.
So it's very easy.
And they're so interesting, too. And
they are.
And I tend to agree with what Mitch said about the teams who win close games. Like, I think there's real stuff to be gained from that, even though it doesn't always look the prettiest with them this year. Like, nobody would say that this is their most pretty team in the run that they've had.
Not.
That's for sure. But it's sort of just like, it feels like the most inevitable team, but that is based off of what they've done in the past. But they're winning all these games in astounding ways and in different ways every week. Like, they can win any kind of football game. It's not like it has to be 45 points anymore. I don't know. I just think there's a lot. Like, I just feel like at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about them winning the Super Bowl again.
And they are, because obviously I disagree with the latter point, but one thing that you cannot say about them is that they've just beaten up on a bunch of tomato cans. Like,
no, they're
like
playing Super Bowl schedule.
This last week's game, to win close against Carolina, like, I'm not going to celebrate that, right? But they beat Denver on the blocked field goal. Tampa is in the playoff mix. The 49ers are what they are at this point in time. But they've beaten the Chargers. They've beaten the Falcons. Even though the Bengals probably won't make it, I think they're a good team still with a bad record. And then, of course, they beat one of the best teams in the NFL in the Baltimore Ravens all the way back in week 1. So, like, they have played good teams, and they still have the Chargers again. They have Houston. They have Pittsburgh. And then they have the game at Denver in week 18. Yeah. They finished with 3 road games in their last 4, by the way, which will be, like, them getting the 1 seed is so important because they're going to have that trip, all those trips, and then they would love to have that week off at the very end of the year. Plus, they're playing all these weird days of the week, a Wednesday game in a couple of weeks.
Throw them through the ringer, and they still end up on top. It's not fun if you're not a Chiefs fan.
No, it is not. And what's funny, too, is like the last great dynasty, of course, was the Patriots. Mitch mentioned those teams in their early run. And in the early run, they were winning a lot of those games close, and it was a lot of defense and just strange things. And then
they got Randy Moss, and then they lost the Super Bowl.
Yes. And, the offense was way better, whereas this is like the inverse. It's like the Chiefs came onto the scene because of their high-flying offense, and now it's just like they're just that old, trusty, reliable. Jim Beam, right?
Just think about Iowa with the best quarterback of all time.
Nice.
They would be unstoppable.
That's what the Chiefs are.
Yeah.
Jim Beam says, thank you for respecting the Chiefs. You won't have any respect for me when the playoffs arrive.
I'm respecting
them to lose.
I'm respecting them.
And then they're going to lose. By the way, CJ, this was before Mitch. Time to tune out for the next 20 minutes. Chiefs are MOOSHY and deserve piss socks worn during games. Wow.
Yeah, he's all in on the MOOSHY piss sock thing.
Yep. It was quite the day.
We got 10 freaking minutes left.
Yep.
We got to finish this thing, man. Are we taking a break anymore?
We're taking a break.
Okay,
good.
One
more break.
Because I really got to go to the bathroom.
Are we going to do NFL reaction over?
No.
The Caitlin Clark story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But when we return, we will discuss what's for dinner, and we will say goodbye from Circa, which we have very much enjoyed. Happer's already saying goodbye. Goodbye, Happer. He's got to go.
He's got to go make MOOSHY.
No, not that kind.
All right, we'll come back and wrap up the Grum next on 1620 The Zone.
When you knock us down, we're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Crust is good on your pizza, not your ass.
I will eat your ass first.
He's tough as a Woolworth steak.
And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap.
I'm ready to hang them up, gut them, and skin them, and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors.
And we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you.
Cliff, what are you going to take away as your best memory from playing basketball at Boston College?
Probably just, like, going out to eat.
Boys, what's for dinner? Nick?
Nick's eating an airplane.
And graham crackers.
You're not going to get any food at the airport?
I will see what food's at the airport, I guess.
There is so much food at the airport.
Yeah, but I don't know.
He's afraid. He doesn't want to walk around. He wants to go to his gate and sit there.
I don't. I just got delayed another half an hour. So,
are you 90 minutes delayed now?
No, it's
an
hour delayed now.
Well, you have a little time. You could eat here. Still got a little money left. Yeah, you could eat here.
I could probably.
Quick little meal.
I'm not hungry right now. That's the problem.
All right.
No, you're gonna be though.
Happer, what are we doing?
I don't know, man. We're gonna go watch the Jays. I'm gonna eat some hoops for dinner. And
that's the woat.
Then we'll see if sad pizza is necessary.
We will be very close to the sad pizza.
Is it going to be Hawaiian pizza?
It is not.
Oh,
I can guarantee you that my sad pizza will not be Hawaiian pizza.
Because that would actually be sad.
That would make me horribly ill.
Delicious.
Yeah. Jordan writes, can't you just skip the game and stay on the stream for a while longer? No. We have to go away.
No. The radio's over now. I'm sorry. We've given you enough.
Yep. Joey, what are you having for dinner?
I do not know. I'm stuck in the studio. Got my
are
mom's
you
cookies.
producing the game?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Another
so
long, busy day.
Busy. We're all so busy. Chris says, never fly late in the day. Too many backed up problems. Rookie move, Nick.
Not on me.
Wow.
Not on me.
I mean, technically it is. You could have flown tomorrow.
I'm going to go home for Thanksgiving.
Yes, I know.
I'm also going to go home for Thanksgiving.
Watch the Dolphins lose to the Packers.
Boom, roasted. Yeah, I don't know what I'll have for dinner. The media food doesn't start until, like, when the game is over. So maybe on our way out, could grab a quick little whatever
That's an
they
interesting
have there.
idea.
Yeah, but I'll probably eat at the arena. I'll probably grab something. So that is what's for dinner.
There's a lot of options at the hotel we'll be going to.
There are.
The casino we'll be going to.
There are. Zach writes, great radio / 1.75 speed podcasting the last couple of days. Kept me going during my commute to Iowa and hanging out with the in-laws. Ooh. Safe travels and happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy God's country. That's what I call Iowa.
1.75 speed.
I'm a double boy.
That's so gross.
Way too fast.
Just listen to it in normal speed.
Nick, I wouldn't be able to listen to all my pods if I listened to normal speed.
I do 1.5 sometimes, and I think, I don't know how Josh does the 2.
You just got to build up to it. You got to build up to it. You gotta build up
definitely.
That's
you
what
have
I
to
did.
get used to it.
Yeah. We've had a great time.
Unbelievable.
Unreal time.
Hard to believe
again.
we're already here.
I don't need this pillow anymore to guard my laptop from the sun.
Thank you to Circa for having us out once more. We had so much fun in March. Dare I say we have had more fun this time. Sunday was spectacular. A day at the sportsbook, everything that I've always dreamed it would be.
Oh, my.
And, it is fun to just wander around and be weird with you guys. So
it is.
I do like being weird with you guys.
It's not what you dream of when you go to Vegas. You're not
hanging out with your coworkers.
You always have really, really high expectations, right?
Yeah.
It's always like, oh man, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna go to this, and we're gonna see this. But really, the best thing you could do is hang out with your dear friends and just walk around and laugh at stuff.
Yeah,
that's it.
Talk trash about people.
That's all you can really hope for.
Jordan writes, happy Thanksgiving, guys. I'm thankful I get to listen to you guys every day.
Jordan, thank you.
Jordan.
You rule.
In all seriousness, man, I'm very thankful for our listeners. I know that the type of radio, especially that we did today in the loopy stage of the show this morning, is not for everyone.
No.
But the people who enjoy it really, really, really enjoy it.
It makes me happy.
And those are my kind of people that are
me-
like, you know what? I don't need it to be serious all the time. We'll probably be serious again on Monday. We'll be talking about what bowl game Nebraska's going to go play in. We'll be talking about playoff stuff. John will be getting on his high horse about conference championship
You'll
games.
be crying about Nebraska only going 6-6.
No,
they
we
beat Iowa.
will be celebrating a 7-5 season, and a lot of folks saying this is what you predicted. You can't even be mad about it anymore. And it'll be great.
That's going to be stupid.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting when that happens. But I love doing shows like today too, especially when we were talking about socks and what was it? MOOSHY.
MOOSHY.
And then Happer went and made a MOOSHY.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Joey, who has done great work back in the studio, and he has more stuff to do with the Creighton game that's just about to get going.
All of our people at NRG Media who allowed us to be here this weekend.
Yeah, shout out to Cammie for setting this up. Stacy for booking our flights. Keely, everybody who got us here.
Josh Odson for picking up more work because I'm here.
That's true.
That's what Josh needs, more work.
So for Joey, for Nick, for Happer, I'm Josh. Enjoy the Creighton game pregame with John Bishop begins right now. Goodbye.
Bye.